kidding?
Talking with the Cuz.
Go Cuz. How you doing?
Stairs rips one into the night.
Stolen by the doctor. Yes, he's got it. Here he comes. Way rock the baby to sleep and slam dunk.
Look, Cuz, don't even try it, okay?
Now here's Anthony Gargano.
Why don't you get the hell out of here, Cuz?
Good morning, everybody. Happy Friday. Yes, it's Friday to all across the Delaware Valley. It's Cuz Radio with the Tunis, hanging out from our spot, Friday haunt, the Parks Racing Sportsbook inside Chickies and Pete's in Malvern. Well. It's Friday. That's the good news. It's yet another gorgeous day in the Delaware Valley. So let's have another day of kind of getting over what happened this past week and the debacle of Mother's Day. And then let's just go have a great happy hour and just down our sorrows and then come back fresh Monday. Talking Eagles. Because that's kind of my plan. My plan is to allow myself one more day of Sixers wallow. Now, obviously, we'll be talking about the Sixers throughout the offseason and everything else. But as far as wallowing, the weather's too nice and it's Friday. And at some point, I need football. So at some point, I got to just turn my attention. I can't. This place, it's torture. It's absolute torture. I was listening to the morning show. I love those guys, and I heard Mark from Boston call in, and Mark's like he came to the conclusion that it's time to trade Embiid. He's like, well, how many times are we going to do this? How many times are we going to go through this stuff? You know, I think we have the answers. We're never going to win. Blah 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 blah. And listen, for the most part, I don't really disagree with how he's feeling or the premise. I just think he incorrectly pointed out that was it was emotional. Like sticking with Embiid is more emotional. Whereas I disagree with that. Here's the truth of the matter is you're not getting fair value for Embiid. You're just not going to get that. Anything, as you've known, when it comes to the draft, everything is a crapshoot. Even the most assured picks are a crapshoot in the draft. You don't know. You went through the process. We went through it together. If you ask the top 20, forget about, me or anybody else locally. If you ask the top 25 basketball minds in the country, they would have told you to take Ben Simmons and happily enjoy a Magic Johnson reboot. From the brightest minds in all of the basketball world, college, NBA, you name it, they would have all told you the same thing. They would have told you a lot about a lot of guys that went through the process. The problem is, again, go back to the year that the Sixers get Embiid. We all wanted Wiggins, right? Which is the truth. And for a good reason. For a good reason. He was the pick entering that college season. Andrew Wiggins was the guy. Wing player, could score, could play, could do everything, could shoot the ball. Played at Kansas big time. It makes sense. And then Embiid broke his foot. And then there was, Wiggins soars. Jabari Parker stayed with Milwaukee, right? And then, Embiid falls to 3. And for everybody who bemoans constantly, and I hear it ad nauseum, it's so hard to win with a big. So, yeah, I agree. I'm not arguing it. But this is what the fates dealt you. The fates dealt you Joel Embiid. And listen, it could have been a ton worse. It could have been a ton worse. You could have had any number of players that have failed. Fultz, Okafor, Simmons, to name a few. But go through the lottery picks. I mean, this kind of is what it is. You know, and you got Embiid. So does it make it harder to build around? It does. But here's the truth of the matter. You're winning game 6 inside 4 minutes to go to close out and get to the conference finals. You're there. It's not a leap that you close out and win the game. It's not. I mean, so here's the thing is, you can't trade Embiid. You're getting nothing for him. And again, I'm not telling you I won't listen to you. You come up with some package and they go, we'll give you, X, Y, Z, and ABC. All right. But you're not getting that, man. You're not. You're not getting it. So you're better off trying to figure out who's the lion next to him. He's a great player, but we talk about lions. I've been talking about lions all week long. Who's the lion that you got to focus on? So, I mean, I think that's the way to do it. Now, again, I know that you're feeling really tough. Really tough. I know you are. I know it's a difficult situation. I'm going to give you my man Rob F. on Instagram. I have to blame myself for thinking they could win that series. We knew Harden and Embiid's playoff history. We knew Rivers was Marty Schottenheimer, which is a great line. In retrospect, it was silly to think it could have gone the other way. Well, that's not true because you're 4 minutes from winning the series. In Shawshank, Red tells Andy, hope is a dangerous thing. Hope can drive a man insane. He was right. Here I am, knowing all I know, still twisting my brain, trying to understand how Embiid could completely no-show in a Game 7. And then compound that with a horrible press conference, trying to make jokes, mocking Giannis, then talking a bunch of nonsense. Before it started, I just viewed the series logically based on track record. I wouldn't be thinking about this now. Hope is the enemy when it's not warranted anyway. What a beautifully written statement. But hope's not the enemy. Hope is not you need hope to trudge on. Otherwise, you might as well just end it. And in this case, it would mean end your fandom. And if you ended your fandom, I'll ask you this question. Are you taking joy out of your life? Are you just sapping joy because you don't want to, you have no hope? Hope is a beautiful thing. Without hope, and by the way, in that movie, the other alternative, either have hope or go hang yourself. That's the truth of the matter. And we all crave life. And we all try to look at the positive way. If you just look at it's going to be negative and the whole world's ill and it's it, well then there's nothing but bleakness. And you're going to will bleakness into your life. Hope is not the enemy. Hope is beautiful. And when it comes to a basketball team or any sports team, hope is paramount. Otherwise, you just turn your back. Otherwise, all the good stuff that happens, and there are good stuff, and there is stuff that enriches your life, just goes by the wayside. Good morning, Tunis.
Well, what's good about it after hearing that? That was depressing.
Well, I mean, it's worth a dialogue.
Oh, it is. Look, I can't.
We talk about hope. I mean, are you willing to? Do you believe that hope is the enemy? Because I don't.
No, hope is what drives me every single day. Hope and looking forward to things. That's what drives me every single day. Because if I give up hope, what am I just going to kind of go through the motions every single day? I don't want to do that. So when it comes to sports, I mean, this is like that's what you get excited for the start of every single season is hope.
Yes.
The Phillies didn't make the playoffs for 10 years, but at the beginning of every season, I hope that this was the year. And look, it finally broke through last season. Now, they didn't win the World Series, but look, we're talking about, oh, man, this is the year they would have got out of the second round. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks that it's another year. It's been 22 years now. But at least they're there. Like, I can't completely just ignore the fact that they have been there. Like, what do you want to be? The Pirates? You want to be the Pelicans? Those teams have no hope, and what's the point of even watching anymore?
Well, that's the point. The point is, if you have no hope, you don't watch. And maybe that's them wanting to just say, I'm checking out.
Yeah, so there's no fun in that anymore. That means you're done. That means you no longer care about sports. You no longer watch. And if that's the path you want to take, hey, God bless you, because we've had this conversation before. There are people that wake up in the morning not caring about sports and not being upset. Christy woke up Monday morning totally fine, right? Whereas I woke up Monday morning in a terrible mood, knowing that I was going to have to come in here and talk about the Sixers because I love that team to death. But, it's also something. I was looking forward to something all day Sunday. I don't know how you could completely take away hope and still be a sports fan.
I don't understand it.
Hope is a part of fandom.
Yeah. It is. It is. It's a part of fandom. It is in your soul. It's in your soul. You need it to move on. You need it for tomorrow. You need it. We will talk about this today. It's important. I got my voice back, Tunis.
You sound great.
It came back.
What was the
I'm out
medicine?
of puberty.
Yeah, good for you. Hi, Daddy.
What was? I had no medicine. I need. You know what I need? I need medicine, like a bottle of gin.
Happy Friday, man.
Yeah.
You did say Happy Friday this morning, like right when you opened the show.
Yeah.
And it made me smile. This weekend's necessary.
Yes. It is. So, I got a baseball tournament in Hershey.
You get me some chocolate while you're there?
Yeah, I you know what? I'm trying to think of last time I was in Hershey.
Hershey, I'm a sweetsman, so give me a bar while you're there, fresh from the factory.
Did you play up there? We never did it.
Never.
These kids now with the tournaments are awesome.
Nah, Reading was really always Reading and Rehoboth Beach. I mean, you have tournaments in the backyard now, which is freaking awesome. Jealous. Yeah. I didn't have that.
Yeah, well, we didn't have travel baseball.
That's true.
Back in the Stone Age. But now they got, now they have a tournament in Hershey, Pennsylvania. So Anthony goes, can I go to the, can I go? I go, you want to go?
Yeah, he wants to go to the factory.
I go, you're gonna have to watch like 6 baseball games. He's like, well, what do you mean? Aren't we going to go to the park or do whatever and eat chocolate? I go, no. We're here to play baseball. He goes, I'll stay home. All right, lots to do today from the Parks Racing Sportsbook inside Chickies and Bigs in Malvern. Cuz Radio with the Tunis. All right, let me tell you about Daniel's Plumbing. Yes, Daniel's Plumbing. Listen, they're my guys, all right? Danny is my main man. These people are amazing. But here's the reason why I want to tell you about them. Because, one, they have all kinds of residential and when it comes to all of your commercial service contracts, they have you covered. Now, here's the deal. You might need drain cleaning. You might need new plumbing installations. You might need excavations. Welcome back. Parks Racing Sportsbook inside Chickies and Pete's in Malvern. Yeah, we got the game. We have games tomorrow in Hershey, 1 and 3, and I guess Sunday because it's a tournament, so we'll be. It's a little 10U action tournament, and I don't know if there's be room for at nighttime to go take a gander into the park. I'm sure the kids will be. The kids love that stuff.
Yeah, they wouldn't hate it. They wouldn't hate the park.
Do you know TV Todd's coming up? He lives in Hershey. I didn't even realize it was actually Hershey that he lives. I thought he was up in Amish country, but it's close to it. And, I haven't been to Hershey Park. Have you been to Hershey Park?
I've never been to Hershey Park, no.
I've never been there either.
Bob Cooney's been to Hershey Park.
Has he?
Yeah, he says hi, by the way.
Give him a big hug for me.
I'll give him a huge hug. Come here, Bob.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Tunis. Yeah, no, I don't think I've ever been there, Hershey. Maybe once. I want to say. It's been a long. I barely remember it, but even if I did. So we got a little baseball tournament up there tomorrow. Because now it comes picking up the pieces. Like I couldn't even watch last night. I couldn't watch.
I did. I watched the first half. I watched Hachimura just going off, and then it wasn't enough for the Lake show. They go down 2-0. And, it's just crazy, man. Everything goes through Jokic on that team.
Yeah, and you feel kind of foolish, too, because you go, all the Jokic hate that I even put out there.
Yeah, but no, we always gave him credit. It's just
I know.
The defense. Look, the defense is legit, right? Like he doesn't play like a defense.
No, he doesn't. He plays no defense. I mean, Hachimura. Look what he was doing last night. I did check in a little bit, but then I couldn't stay with it, man. I can't watch it. How about the hockey game? 4 overtimes. Is that amazing?
Incredible, man. I mean, these playoff series have been, the whole hockey playoffs, start to finish, have been great.
I mean, I got to tell you. I mean, I just feel like I miss this idea of. I just miss the playoffs. I miss hockey and the butterflies. I can't believe it's over. It's like, here's the thing, and I opened it up talking about hope. And I believe that hope is not only your friend, but hope is your salvation. I truly believe that. I think hope is a gift from God. But beyond that, when I look at where we are, again, in kind of the plight that we have, I mean, even as something as like the Flyers in the darkest times, I go, well, maybe there's hope with Jonesy. Right? Like maybe there's hope with a guy that we've known, and maybe he comes in and the guy knows what he's doing and can figure it out. I don't know. I think you need to have that sort of thing to fall back on to get you through this time. And I keep going back when I look at the Sixers and say, and I'm getting berated. I mean, geez, my man, the guru, who I love, is so immensely annoying with his ridiculous trade Embiid stuff constantly over and over and over and over again. You don't get what you think. You watch too much regular season NBA. You bet too much on games, and that's because you win, so God bless you, but your mind is skewed. You're not looking at the game itself. Listen, there are issues with Embiid, without a doubt, and you need someone that can help him close games. You do. You need someone that can help him close the games. I get that. That's true. But by just throwing them, by trading them, you're not going to get anything in return. Like, what do you think you're getting? And you want to go back into this? They were 4 minutes away from closing out Game 6.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, they were so close. And look, part of me does fear, was that the closest we'll ever get? But I can't blow it up yet. You blow it up now. I mean, what are we going to do, another 5 years of the process? Are we really going to build? Look, I love Tyrese Maxey. Is he a lone build-around piece?
No, you need more than Tyrese, obviously.
I know, but that's what people keep on saying. They want just get rid of Embiid, don't bring back Harden. Maybe you keep Tobias as a veteran voice for his last year.
Honest with you. I don't want to bring back Harden. I don't think that that's a good fit.
No, for 4 years, hell no.
No, I mean, I don't want to bring him back for $200 million. I don't.
I would have been cool if he played out the rest of this contract, 2 more years. Because he did have a very good season. I will keep on bringing that up. He had a very good season.
Here's my only problem with Harden. And I think he was a gentleman. He had a great season. I have no issues, no ill will toward James. I don't know that him and Embiid are the right fit together. I just don't know that those. I don't know that they're the right fit. I think you need. Again, I keep going back to Lions, but I think you need a Lion next to him, and you need a coach that knows what he's doing. Like, you can't tell me what Embiid does on the floor. He's the best rim protector in the NBA. And he's a big that shoots 90% from the foul line.
Right.
You're going to tell me that
he's a generational talent.
Are you going to tell me that the answer is just get rid of that?
No, it can't be.
Like, that makes no sense to me. It hurts my my basketball soul. Like, those things that he does are worthless. Like, that's why I just shake my head at these people. I'm like, guys, you're not looking at it with clarity. It's not about, moving Embiid. It's about putting somebody next to Embiid. And yeah, you know what? Maybe he's not a Lion. All right? I see the same thing you guys do. But if you get somebody next to him that handles the ball, that can get him the ball, and that can direct it. Right? He's the star of the movie. You need a big-time director to make the movie great. You need the guy who's got the ball in hand, who creates, who's going to tell him what to do, who's got, stones and ice and everything else, and can make things work. That's what you need. So you don't want to just throw it all out. Jonas?
Yeah, you can't just – I can't just give up at this point. I mean, the amount of people that have talked about him being as good as Wilt Chamberlain, those who have seen Wilt Chamberlain. You want to trade Wilt Chamberlain?
Right.
Think about that for a second. You want to trade Wilt Chamberlain, today's Wilt Chamberlain. I can't do that. The guy's a generational talent. He might just need another piece, and it just goes back to the same thing that we've been going through for the last 5 years. We need a new piece. We need a new piece. We need a new piece, which is exhausting.
It is, and I get Mark. So Mark from Boston when he called up Bobby and Bro and Devon, and he says, well, the common denominator is Joel. Okay, yes and no. Yes, he's been there throughout the thing. However, if you look at what's been around him has been flawed. That's been the true common denominator. If you want to blame him, listen, he came up tiny. As big as he is, he was Tiny Tim in Game 6.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Tiny Tim. Dude, no excuse. They didn't give me the ball. No. You got to go demand it and hold it. But you also need someone to tell him, right? Or maybe he's not Giannis, who's got eye to tiger, but you need someone that has it and says, yo, big fella, I need you 12 feet from the basket. I'm getting you the ball. You're going to run off the screen, all right? And then you're going to attack the rim. And you're going to attack it with vengeance. And then you're going to go to the line because you're going to get fouled.
And that may not be...
We're going to run that all the time.
That may not even be Harden, right? Whether you're talking coach or point guard, that may not be Harden. I mean, we hear all the time about how great Harden is with younger players, right? But maybe Harden doesn't do that with a guy like Embiid because he looks at him as maybe an equal and goes, he could do his own thing. Maybe you're right.
I don't know. I don't know Harden that well, right? Like in the sense of he doesn't strike me as He strikes me as a unique, kind of march to his own beat type of player. Incredibly intelligent, I think. Knows the game inside and out. But I don't know that he's got, he's the dog, right? Like,
right.
I think Embiid needs a dog next to him, like with the ball. Needs that guy. Like, honestly, I mean, you need somebody that's just got a ball of energy that's going to bark at him a little bit. I believe that's kind of what you need to kind of close things out. You got to move him to Tobias because look at the group. Like the group is Tobias is too nice, right? Like nice guy. Oh, I love him. He's too nice, right? Like killer. You need a killer. Like you see AI. Could you imagine if AI was with Embiid? AI goes, AI, yo, big fella, I love you, man. You got to go over there. You're like, you know, he would tell him where to be. I'm not saying you got to bark and be nasty. I'm saying he's just got to listen to you.
He might need a strong voice.
That's it. It's not about barking and being nasty and anything else. I'm saying it's more you got to have somebody that he respects that, is going to take control. Because I know he wants to take control, but when you're 7'2", you can't break people down on a double team 30 feet from the basket.
No, especially teams where they'll throw. Look, I know Marcus Smart is a total hate to face, but we do know that he's a great defender and he's not afraid to have Embiid back down on him. But when he comes over for a double and Embiid's trying to dribble out of it, how many times have we seen in Embiid's career a guard, because he's 7'2", so the ball takes a lot longer to go down to hit the floor and then come back up. We've seen a guard swipe the ball away. Fred VanVleet did it a lot. Kyle Lowry's done it a lot. Any guard that comes over with help defense, that's why sometimes you see turnovers from Embiid. And he's definitely gotten better at it. Like he has. We haven't seen the same sloppy turnovers from Joel Embiid that we saw 2-3 years ago. He's definitely improved with that, and that could have been a Doc Rivers thing, right, to give Doc his credit. But still, I mean, he's not, like you said, he's not a guy that's got these kinds of handles that could, get by and create his own shot.
Yeah.
He's a pick and roll, pop and shot guy, and that's fine. That's his game, and it worked really well with Harden.
Oh man, I agree. Let's get back to hope for 1 second. Because I heard Bro talking about the Phillies. And Bob said, yo, dude, like, what, how you feeling? And, he's like, oh, my hopes are fading. And I thought they would be this. Blah, 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 the whole thing. And you could see he was being pessimistic, right? He said he was being pessimistic. Because I texted him. I said, dude, too early to bail on the Phillies. And they both were like, well, maybe it's a 500 club and it's the fear. And look, it may turn out to be that way. But you got to know, baseball. Like those guys know baseball. You know baseball, Tunis. You know that nothing happens now. It's too soon. Last year, when they were 20 and 26, right? It was what, the beginning of June?
Yep.
They're now 20 and 23, right?
Yep.
It's the lesson for you.
Well, that's the thing. I'm not asking you to go, hey, look back at what happened in 2002. I'm asking you to look back at what happened in 2022. Like it was last year.
I know.
That should be the lesson. It was last year.
Yeah.
And the Phillies have had some bumps in the road to start this season. Ranger Suarez gets hurt before the season starts. He's pitching tonight. Looking forward to seeing him out there. Andrew Painter gets hurt before the season starts. Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola struggling out the gate. Maybe it's the pitch clock thing. And I know not every team has dealt with the pitch clock. And it can't be. I always love the excuse for hitting season, right? Where it's, the Phillies, they'll hit in June. Well, there's other teams that are hitting just fine in April, right? But maybe the pitch clock thing affects different pitchers in different ways, and so now Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola might get into a bit of a form. Your bullpen is going to be good. They just need to get healthy. Jose Alvarado's dealing with something right now. They just need to get healthy again. You still have a nasty lineup. I saw a lot of complaints yesterday on social media of Trey Turner. Somebody posted his stat line, and people are complaining about how much money he got. Dude, Trey Turner's going to be fine. Please don't give up on Trey Turner. 43 games into a season.
Too early. I know.
Dude, I had to argue with people last year about Garrett Stubbs and JT Realmuto because Realmuto came out the gate slow. JT Realmuto was the team's MVP last season. He ended up being the team's MVP. When Bryce Harper went down, he's one of the reasons why you still made the playoffs last year. And he had a slow start to the season. Don't give me the, Trey Turner wasting money. Like, what else? What would you want to do? Keep Gene Segura? What is he doing in Miami? Nothing.
No, I mean, dude, you're spot on. You got to be, you have to be patient in baseball. That's the sport. You know, I know everybody goes, it's easy for you to be patient. It's not about being, it's the nature of the sport. Like, it's a long slog. I'm not telling you. Here's what I'm telling you. They're going to make the playoffs. I feel confident they're going to make the playoffs. The Braves are the best team in the National League. Now, I go back to hope. I have hope that they can best and make another run. Because if you put them all, if they start clicking and maybe you add a piece and you get hot at the right time, it could be last year all over again. So I have hope for the rest of the season. I'm not looking to flush it. Now with Sixers, I believe me, I know it's hard. Right now, I can't think about hope. But that's the point. I have to get to the point where I can actually believe in hope, as hope is our salvation, Tunis.
Yeah, hope gets you through life. Like, how many times have you said, like, you had a bad day? Oh, man, I hope tomorrow's going to be better.
Right.
You don't sit there and go, oh, man, maybe tomorrow will be just as bad.
Right.
No, you hope that the next day will be better. So you hope that the next season will be better. You hope that the next game will be better. You can't just completely get rid of hope from your life.
Yeah, I know.
Having no hope sucks.
Yes. It sucks. It's true. All right, lots to do. 610-632-0975. 632-0975 is how you join us. We're gonna go to the phone. Open the phone line soon. We also, there was a terrible passing. A legend in Philadelphia sports passed away yesterday. Ted Silary was one of the great writers for the Daily News. Ted Silary was a guy that covered preps. And when he came to your game, you knew it was big. You had to show up for Ted. And so our thoughts and prayers go out to the family. Man, Ted Silary was one of the greats. Pat McLoone, who I love, formerly editor of the Daily News, is going to join us to tell us about Ted and what Ted meant to the Delaware Valley. I think it's important. We got the Vault coming up. TV Todd's coming up later today. All kinds of fun things. Let's talk about the Bet Parks app for a second, because we're here at the Parks Racing Sportsbook inside Chickies and Pete's in Malvern, and it's beautiful, man. What a spot. Come in, you bet the games, and you got a big bowl of crab fries, right? You can't beat that. But if you can't get here, don't fret, because the Bet Parks app has you covered with all the goodies. So with all the games, you have Heat tonight, Jimmy, and Boston.
Sixers, Flyers, Union, and the best Eagles talk in Philadelphia. 97.5 The Fanatic.
All right, 10:51 across the Delaware Valley, live from the Parks Racing Sportsbook inside Chickies and Pete's in Malvern. So I really want our next guest. I asked them to call up. So very important to talk about the passing of a great sports figure in our area. Ted Silary was one of the great writers for the Daily News, covered preps, owned it, right? Of all the great young talent that went through our Delaware Valley, Ted chronicled all these kids. And he was a big deal. And when he would go to a game, people knew it. There were whispers, and the kids knew it. Like, oh, look who's here. Like, that's a big deal. And we want to send our best wishes to the family as he passed yesterday. And joining us, the editor of the Daily News. He was, a staple in this town. Pat McLoone on the Comcast Business Hotline. Good morning, Pat.
Anthony, how are you? Thanks so much for asking me to call.
First of all, condolences. What a special man Ted was.
Well, he really was. And since you were nice enough to call, I saved specifically for you a like person to Ted, in that just somebody that's been around and gets Philadelphia, and it's all about Philadelphia. Kind of personifies who Ted is, that I saved just for you and Andrew. Years ago, Anthony, I got to do a little background on me. I started the Daily News in 1980, became sports editor in 89. In 2000, I was taken over for Mike Rathett, who was the longtime head there, to run the department. And I had a legal pad. And on the legal pad, I wrote about the few things that I wanted to change or do differently. And the top thing I had, Anthony, was I wanted to get Ted in the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame. And so I called a guy who's still there, really good man named Ken Avalon, who I dealt with before.
Oh, said, yeah, I love Ken. Yeah.
I left a message for Ken, and it said, I want to get Ted in the Sports Hall of Fame. Ken called back, and Anthony, his lead punch was an apology. He calls back, he says, Pat, I just want to apologize to you. All our guys were talking about this when you checked in, and we want to apologize. This is our fourth class to the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame, and we're embarrassed that Ted's not in. So Ted's in, you got it. Let's line it up. So thrilled, because I owe my job and career to Ted. I call Ted and tell him, Ted, you're in the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame. Ted kind of chuckles, laughs, said thanks, but I don't want it.
Really?
Here's a guy that turns down. I have to call Avalon Vegas. Let me get this straight. The guy does not want to go into the Hall of Fame. I said, no, it's amazing. And Ted said, I don't want to get up there and speak in front of people. I said, Ted, if you go, take the thing and say thank you, people will love it, because they think people talk too long. I was furious. But here's what Ted did that just saved the whole thing. Ted said, I'll tell you what, here's what I would like you to do. I would like you to call Ken back. Tell him thanks. I really appreciate it. I really do. But would you ask him that it would be okay if I decline and that they put Phil Jasner in instead?
Wow.
And so
really?
I called Ted. I called Ken. Ken said, well, Phil's still at it, but we're going to do that eventually. Sure. Okay, this is Phil's year. And Anthony, God bless Phil, Phil would not have made it till the following year. He would not have been.
Oh, my God, that's right.
Yes. And Phil was in it, and he was in all his glory getting into the Hall of Fame. And so I texted Ken today. I haven't heard back, but I said, Ken, it's time to get Ted in, and guess what? Poor Ted can't do anything about it this time.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God, what a story. And I remember when Phil I remember when Phil got in. I remember thinking, "Oh man, that's awesome," and then he passed. Oh my God!
Yeah, and Phil was already in Springfield by then. He was in the pro basketball.
Yeah, he was. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you know this. You remember how big it was. Like when Ted covered a game, when Ted was at a game, it was something special. You know, it was our own little local, you know, when the ESPN cameras are there, you know. When Ted was there, it was a big deal.
It really was. I mean, and he really made high school sports in this city special. And I really feel that, like, how often can somebody say they're better at doing somebody than anyone, anywhere, at any time? And I really feel like Ted was the best who ever covered high schools in this country ever. And you're right about going to the games. I mean, and he always wrote about the kids. It was all about bringing out the stories about the kids, hearing what they had to say. He rarely quoted coaches or administrators. You know, I remember personally, I played at LaSalle many years and many pounds ago on my part. And Ted would he'd come to our games and he would always say, look, I want to do a story on you. And it turned out that whenever I played well, we would lose, and whenever we would win, I wouldn't. So, you know, a lot of other guys in our team got those things that much deserved. But there were all those people that have their story. You know, my nephew, Rich Hoffman, who does a fabulous job writing
Yes, he does.
Sixers for The Athletic. When I'm down the shore in the house, there's that framed story from Ted from the game he happened to be at when Rich hit a buzzer beater to beat Cardinal O'Hara. And, you know, his father, who went through everything, and my sister, they treasure that. They treasure that their son got recognized by Ted. And, you know, the other thing, Anthony, is, and this is a heck of an undertaking that you and the Tunis would understand, is Ted chronicled every point ever scored in the history of the Catholic League. And that goes back to 1937. Wow. And then every point that was ever scored in the Interact League, that goes back to 1924, 99 years. Now, it hasn't been updated in the last few years, and it never will. But, yeah, you can find out what Tom Gola scored for LaSalle High School in those days. You can find out what Marvin Harrison, the Pro Football Hall of Famer, scored for Roman Catholics. What it was really about was a couple of things. One, if you wanted to know what Harold Buzz Cody scored for 1938's North Catholic team, it's there. And his family always has that. And here's the perfect touch as it relates to Ted. If you look at the 1968-69 Penn Charter stuff on the website, and for the listeners, it is tedsilary.com. If you look on the 1968-69 Penn Charter team, they list the players, and it lists one guy who played one game and had 1 point, and his name was Ted Silary.
Oh, man. Oh, I got chills, man.
Ted was about the guy that scored 1 point. He did off-season stuff for us because, and he loved covering high schools, but he did a fabulous job covering the Phillies. And he would always write about the guy that was just getting his first at-bat in the majors, or the guy that was playing 10 years. And a great story about that, Anthony, was in 1993 when the Phillies went to Toronto to play the Blue Jays. The Daily News was loading up, as all the Daily News sports staff could.
The greatest.
We were loaded. We were ready to go, and God bless, we had pages upon pages of coverage that our desk handled so beautifully. But I wanted to send our very best team there, and I was in charge of who we were going to staff, and we were 8-9 deep, and I had to send Ted because Ted was the perfect guy in that mix when you're in the press box, and you know this, and he'd go out and get his own story that nobody else was going to do. But here's the thing. When I called Ted and said, all right, Ted, look, I need you to make reservations for the flight to Toronto, covering the World Series. You know what? I said, yeah, I'm not covering the World Series. What? He was upset that I sent him to Toronto because, like, Gratz was playing Mass Bomb that Friday, you know? but I said, hey, man, saddle up.
That's fabulous.
Baby. Saddle up, get on the plane. And he did a great job along with Paul Hagan and Stan and everybody that we had there at the time.
Oh, my God, that's fabulous, man. That is that is so Ted. Like, what, World Series? What, are you kidding me? I don't think so. Oh, I got a big game going on. That's awesome, man.
And I can relate them to everybody who's close to me and how they, you know, the memories of it. And whenever I, you know, think of you, Anthony, and as proud as I am of you and everything you've done over the years, when I think of Ted, I think about how Ted touched the life of John Marzano.
Yeah.
And the first stories about this young kid who was firing rockets and throwing people out at second base at Central High School, those were all from Ted Silary.
Yeah.
Yep. And in fact, he was very ill at the end, and I saw Ted in the hospital on May 7th, and he was leaning over, and he could barely speak, and he had to gown up and do everything in the hospital. And his dear daughter, Kristen, who's an absolutely beautiful young woman who's going to deliver her second child any day. So I really feel for her. She brought me in. I was all gowned up, and I was there with Ted. And I started playing a game, and I would say, I'm going to say the name, come up with an obscure name. And I would say, St. James, and he would say it. And I'd say Merle Dobbins, and he would say it. And I said to him, the school I said was Central. And he just kind of smiled, and he knew what I was. He just said, he said, Johnny Morris. Johnny Morris. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, they're hanging out right now, man.
Yes, sir.
Those two.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Oh, God bless, man.
A great day for a ball game up there.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right, brother.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh, my. Oh, man, you get me wishful, brother. You always, man, you know what to say. You are a beautiful man. God, I love you. And, man, I want to catch up under a more happier situation on the air, too, okay?
Oh, terrific. Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Love you, buddy. God bless you and the McLoone family, the McLoone clan, and just special people, man.
Thanks, Anthony. Back into the house to start editing stuff for a side gig and throw the Fanatic on and listen to you and Tunis for a little longer. All right?
Thanks, brother. Love you, buddy. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. See ya. Take care.
The great Pat McLoone, former editor of the Daily News, and just, one of the best. One of the best ever. All right, Tunis, open the vault.
When we began opening this vault nearly 2 hours ago, we had no real idea what we'd find inside. As it turns out, we haven't found very much.
All right. The vault presented by Golden Nugget Jewelers, where Philly gets engaged.
All over the place today, Ant. We have sports, we have movies, we have a birthday, and of course you'll remember him as a character and an all-time creep in the show that he played in. But we'll start with the birthday. How about our wrestling fans out there, Ant? Today would have been Andre the Giant's birthday. So we're going to go a little WrestleMania here. Him versus Hogan.
Hook, what's he doing now? He made that mistake earlier. Why is he going up
second
again?
rope. What's going to happen? Clothesline, the Giant goes down. Hogan goes for the leg. Wait a minute, Virgil grabbed his ankle. Referee sting. Here comes the Hulkster. Yes. Covering. 1, 2, 3,
No.
4.
Virgil's got the referee tied up. Dave Hebner is over there warning Virgil. He got him.
No, he didn't.
The referee counted 3. We've got a new world champion.
No, we don't either.
I told it, McMahon. I told you. I told the world that the Giant would win it.
No, sir. That can't be.
I don't ever want to hear you doubt me again, McMahon. Never, ever again.
Dave Hebner, the referee, is outside. He has the championship belt, I believe, in his hands. Hulkster's looking down at him. He can't believe it. He's saying it was only 2. He can't be giving the title to Andre. He can't be.
Hebner counted 3. In wrestling, you don't go by instant replays. This ain't football. It's the referee's decision.
I can't believe what a stupid mistake that was.
Wow.
This ain't football.
That's awesome. That's fabulous. So, my buddy Bob, right? Bob means jobs?
Yes.
Right? So, Bobby I would think of wrestling like he loved the Giant, right?
Okay.
He loves the Giant. He loves wrestling. So, I told Massimo that we were telling him that Bobby was Andre the Giant's manager.
Oh, okay.
Because we were watching old clips of Andre the Giant with Massimo. And Massimo was freaking out.
Oh, of course.
God,
look at the size of this dude. Yeah.
I said, Uncle Bobby was his manager, man. What? To this day, I think he still believes that.
Oh, and Bob knew him so much from watching. He probably could say all kinds of stuff.
Exactly.
And plus all the stories that are out there.
Yes.
So Andre the Giant's would have been his birthday today. Another birthday to, I guess, celebrate. It's Bill Lambier's birthday today.
That creepo.
So here is a fight between Lambier and Barkley. It was the lead story on SportsCenter.
We lead off with the NBA. sort of basketball, I guess you could call it, at the tail end. Get the women and kids out of the room. Here come the Sixers and Pistons.
This was supposed to be the calm before the storm, before the playoffs began. The NBA probably won't be labeling tonight's Detroit-Philly game fantastic. More like an embarrassing moment for two of the better teams in the league. When the Pistons got rid of Rick Mahorn, Detroit claimed they also got rid of that bad boy label. Tonight, Mahorn and the Sixers came into Detroit with good intentions, like winning the Atlantic Division. These two went at each other all night long. They've been going at each other all season long. Rodman with a push on Mahorn. Laimbeer follows with the ball, and then Barkley and Laimbeer. Barkley gets in the left. Laimbeer will come back with an uppercut. Laimbeer, who's had that mouse under his eye for most of the season, also had a cut. Both benches empty. It went on for 5 minutes. The fans also got involved in it. It was an ugly situation. You can look for fines. I think the biggest thing to be concerned of for both of these teams is if anybody's going to be suspended for the first round of the playoffs. Both teams jawing at each other. The Pistons did not like the fact that the Sixers clinched the Atlantic Division on their home court. They tried to go to the locker room. Barkley went into the locker room and actually broke a toilet seat. He was so mad.
Yeah.
The Sixers pick up the victory, 107-97. The last time the Sixers clinched the Atlantic was 1983. They went on to win the NBA title.
Yeah, and they didn't win that year. They still haven't won. 40 years. But yeah, I never heard the Barkley story. Breaking the toilet seat.
Yeah, that's a big deal, yeah.
That's wild. All right, how about tomorrow? It's the Friday, so we won't be on the air tomorrow, but tomorrow is a big premiere of a movie, 1989, Ant Field of Dreams.
Oh, wow.
Premiered, man, it's a long time ago, 1989. Here's, of course, the big speech.
People will come, Ray. They'll come to Iowa for reasons they can't even fathom. They'll turn up your driveway, not knowing for sure why they're doing it. They'll arrive at your door as innocent as children, longing for the past. Of course, we won't mind if you look around, you'll say. It's only $20 per person. They'll pass over the money without even thinking about it. For it is money they have and peace they like.
Ray, just sign the papers.
And they'll walk out to the bleachers. Sit in shirt sleeves on a perfect afternoon. They'll find they have reserved seats somewhere along one of the baselines. Where they sat when they were children and cheered their heroes. And they'll watch the game. And it'll be as if they dipped themselves in magic waters. The memories will be so thick they'll have to brush them away from their faces.
Ray, when the bank opens in the morning, they'll foreclose.
People will come, Ray.
You're broke, Ray. You sell now or you lose everything.
The one constant through all the years, Ray, has been baseball. America has rolled by like an army of steamrollers. It's been erased like a blackboard, rebuilt and erased again. But baseball has marked the time. This field, this game, it's a part of our past, Ray. It reminds us of all that once was good. And it could be again. Oh, people will come, Ray. People will most definitely come.
That's an all-time baseball sports speech.
Beautiful.
Yeah, man.
That's why I don't understand it. People go, it's so slocky, that's saccharine.
No, it's a great movie, man. Now, quick story. Senior year of high school, as you could imagine, I wasn't really the best student out there. And I was in physics class, and I had already been accepted into TU, the prestigious Temple University. And I didn't really care anymore, so we had to do a project on some sort of active physics, and I did one on the curveball. And we had to speak for 5 minutes. I think I explained the curveball in like 60 seconds, and I needed 4 more minutes to kill, so I played that speech in its entirety.
No, you didn't? Did you really?
And the teacher goes, wait, that was because I said thank you at the end. Like it was done. I was like, thanks for your time. He said, really, man? Yeah, he gave me an F for that one.
No, you got an F? Why?
I just played 4 minutes of a scene from a movie.
Yeah, but why didn't you get it? I like the idea of the curveball in physics.
Yeah, I thought of it that morning.
That's the sports science.
I thought of it that morning, dude.
The ESPN. That was smart by you, Chunas.
Yeah, but I did no research. I just showed the grip and I explained.
No, you didn't.
Yeah. I think I put a clip of somebody on the Phillies that threw a curveball, and then I played that. Yeah, so it didn't go well. All right, last but not least,
you could have got it in a slider. You could have got it in a fork ball. You could have got it in so many different things you could have done.
Yeah, I had
physics and pitches.
Yeah, it was. Here's the problem.
You missed your A.
Here's the problem. It was first period physics. It's not like I could go through the rest of the day trying to figure it out. No, it was first period, first class I had to go to. All right, tomorrow would be the birthday of Jack Gleason. Now, I'm sure you go, who's Jack Gleason? Jack Gleason played an all-time creep in a show. He was Prince and then later King Joffrey in Game of Thrones.
Joffrey.
Dude, he was
I
an
hate Joffrey.
all-time
needed a beating.
creep.
The lion ripped his balls off and the boar did all the rest.
Joffrey.
Very amusing. Isn't it a funny song? Thank you for your rendition. I imagine it was even better received at that tavern. I'm so sorry, Your Grace. We'll never sing it again. I swear. Tell me, which do you favor? Your fingers or your tongue? Your Grace? Fingers or your tongue. If you got to keep one, which would it be? I could just cut your throat. Every man needs hands, Your Grace. Good. Tongue it is. Your Grace, please. I won't. Your Grace. Sir Ilan, who better than you to carry out the sentence? I beg you, please.
I decided to spare the rest of the scene. Nobody wants to hear some guy's tongue getting, sliced off.
I mean, honestly, you gotta go fingers. You gotta keep your tongue. Don't you? Don't you gotta go
so he was a musician. So fingers, he can't play the guitar anymore.
Yeah,
tongue, he can't sing though.
Tongue, you got nothing.
Yeah, you can't talk.
You can't talk. You can't eat. Like, you're done. You got no tongue.
Tongue's one slice though. Fingers, that's 10 chops.
Yeah, I think I gotta go fingers.
That's 10 chops, man.
Chop,
it's not like you're numb after one.
Chop, chop, Brady.
But he's an all-time creep. I'm sure you could come up with your GOAT list.
Well, he is a creep. He was a Joffrey. He was a creep. Oh, Joffrey the creep. All right. 610-632-0975. 610-632-0975. It's Cuz Radio with the Tunas live from the Parks Race and Sportsbook right here inside Chickies and Beats in Malvern. welcome back. Parks Racing Sportsbook here inside Chickies and Pete's in Malvern. Cuz Radio Tunes. Now, there's a report from Keith Pompey of the Inquirer that James Harden is expected to reunite with the Rockets in free agency. So Keith puts that out there today, which would not be surprising. So here it is. It looks like Harden back to the Rockets. So, which I think would be a blessing, dude.
Oh, my God, yeah.
I think would be a blessing.
I got really nervous when that report came out yesterday from our man who, what's his name? Forgive me. He does the Bleacher Report in Yahoo, does a great job. And he said that Harden was a driving force to get Doc Rivers out of here. And he's been right on a lot of Sixers reports, and I'm sure that is one of them. Maybe Daryl Morey said, hey, would you come back if Doc Rivers was the coach? And he may have said no, but maybe ultimately he still had his mind set on Houston. But when I saw that report yesterday, I was like, oh, boy. So they did really make that move to make Harden happy. And
yeah, but I gotta say
I'm glad
this,
to see that today.
And all due respect to Doc, you can't lose Game 6 like that, and then your team quit on you in Game 7 and expect to keep your job.
But when I saw that report a day after Daryl Morey said it was his call, I go, oh, no, here we go. You're really setting up for this 4-year deal for Harden. Mike D'Antoni's going to be the coach, and you're gonna make James Harden happy. So that's a good sign. And I will say it over and over again. He had a very good year, and I would have taken him for the final 2 years of his deal if he didn't opt out. If he opted back in, thought, you know what, I'm not going to get more money elsewhere. This is the best situation for me to win. I would have lived with the last 2 years of James Harden. I would not have done 4 more years.
Right.
You would have you start over, right? It's not like you're all of a sudden you're halfway done. Like, no, you're starting from scratch 4 years.
Yeah. I know.
It's not that I'm 2 years into this 4-year deal. No, I am starting over. He will be 38 when this contract's up.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that Keith reported that today. It kind of brings back some sanity for me.
Yeah, listen, I've been hearing the same things. You know, I've been hearing the same thing, that he's going to go back to Houston. And I don't think it has anything to do with anything bad. Like he doesn't like Philly or Embiid. It's none of that. I think it's more personal than anything else. So, I mean,
yeah, and the story with Keith, he mentioned that his mom still lives there. And
well, I think that's kind of what it is.
Yeah.
I think he prefers to be with his mom. I think there's kinds of things. And, you know, I think that's the most important thing. You know, $200 million. You know.
That's the other thing. He's still going to get it.
Well, listen, better than us. All right. You know, better than us. You know, listen.
Now the question is, can you do a sign and trade? Now I don't know what you're getting out of Houston. It'll have to be some sort of 3-team deal where you're getting something.
Well, it doesn't matter what you get. Anything's better than nothing because you can walk for nothing. You just got to do you solid and do the sign and trade.
Yeah, I just don't know what are you getting out of Houston that you like.
Who cares what you're getting? I mean, honestly, anything's a plus. Anything that you get of like any kind of role player, bench player is a plus. I mean, I mean, look at the roster to go through what I want. You know. Yeah, I think the other thing too is here's what I think about Morey, right? I think the Eel loves Harden. But I also think the Eel goes, listen, I'm not giving you $200 million. I can't hamstring us for the rest of Joel's career, his prime.
Right.
I can't do that. And so I believe that the Eel, does he love Harden? Yeah, I think he's very fond of him. I think there's a lot of people that I trust and respect that go, Harden's a great dude. Like, you know, he really is. He's been a gentleman here the whole thing. But they also are realistic with hey, you got to win. Like, this isn't just, hey, we like this team and we'll run it back. The team needs to be splintered. It needs to be redone. It just does. You took a shot, and I'm all for the shot. I am. I thought the same thing. Like, you get, when you don't have, think about this for a second, Tunis. You're sitting there, you're stuck, right? You're stuck. You got Simmons, who's an albatross. So they go, well, we can get Harden. You know why I was so excited? Because you actually had a piece that wanted to play. Right?
Right. I mean, ultimately, the deal worked out for you.
Right.
He traded Ben Simmons, who's not playing still.
Right.
Still not playing. He's played a few games for the Nets. And you got James Harden in there, who had a very good season, helped Joel Embiid win the MVP. And does that mean anything because they lost Game 7 to the Celtics? No, it doesn't. But you at least got somebody that played basketball for you at a decent level.
Yeah.
So the trade, like, I'm not ripping the trade. I'm not ripping the fact that, it's his guy, Harden. He had to trade for Harden. No, there was nobody else out there to trade for. So you trade for Harden because he was a disgruntled star in Brooklyn. You get him. You tried it. It didn't work. And I'm really glad, really glad that they did the contract where it was an opt-out after year one. And I'm really glad that it looks like Daryl Morey is not married to him for 4 more years. Ultimately, this works out to the best for the Sixers.
Yeah, like, I believe that Daryl will not hamstring them financially during Embiid's prime. I believe that. He's too smart a basketball guy.
But now it's time to get creative, right?
Yes.
Which we've seen him do in the past. You know, getting rid of Al Horford somehow was a creative move. The Josh Richardson, Seth Curry trade was a brilliant move. So he's made moves. This is a big one, though. Like, what can you do? Because you're also going to have to replace Harden with a max player. And I don't know what's out there. If you're going to trade Tobias, that's now 2 slots that you have to fill.
Right.
Which I'm done with Tobias. I think everybody collectively is done, has been done, but now you can actually do it with the expiring contract. So maybe it's a 3-team deal, sign and trade, Harden goes to Houston, Tobias goes somewhere.
Or maybe, you're going to have a free agent, right? You'll have a free agent piece.
There's just not many out there except
but I don't
Kyrie,
know.
Which is a conversation.
Smells like feet. I mean, I don't know. There's guys. I'm not sure. My guess is they're not going to give up. Jalen Green's a hell of a player, so they're going to keep him.
Yeah.
You got Kevin Porter Jr. Now, Green and Kevin Porter Jr. are kind of the same guy. They're both 6'4", that creates with the ball in your hand. They got the kid Knicks, who's also 6'4", the Rockets. So you want to pair Harden with one of those younger guards. They also got the kid Josh Christopher, who's not bad either at 6'4" kid. They have like 4 guards. So you got Josh Christopher, 6'4" guard. He's more of a 2. You got Jalen Green, who can play the 1 but is more of a 2.
But that was also the guy that, remember the report in the middle of the season, Harden really liked Jalen Green.
Right.
So I doubt they part with him.
No. He's their best player. But then you also have Kevin Porter Jr., who's the same thing. He's another kid he's another 6'4" kid who's like 24 years old. He's 23. And you got like 4 guys. Christopher, Knicks, they're the back-end guys. But Porter and Green, it's interesting, dude. I mean, it really is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm
and that kid Eason, I agree with the guru. Eason is a kid who's a nice little player too. Like
I'm just happy.
You got a couple young kids. Were you happy?
I'm just happy that Harden's not going to be signing back here.
Yeah, I am too. Not for $200 million. Hey, let me sneak Benny up here, and then we got Brazier coming up. And then we'll go back to it and open up the phone lines. But I know that Benny's got a big-time thing going on. Benny, our autism champion, he is the ambassador in the fight against autism. What's going on, my brother?
How you been, cuz? I'm on a train right now. Tomorrow's my birthday.
Oh, happy birthday, Benny boy.
25.
Dude, you're 25? Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Where did time go? When did I meet you? I met you, got to be 10 years ago.
That was 5 years ago. We were driving up to Darney up to 78.
No, it was longer than that. No. I remember. How can I forget Ben? How can I forget you? You're a legend, buddy.
I know. I love you, cuz. You're just amazing.
So tell me about it. What's going on now?
I'm doing the Eagles Autism Challenge today. And
Yes.
I'm doing the kickoff party, and then my birthday's actually tomorrow, so I'm doing the run and walk tomorrow.
Oh, that's fantastic, buddy.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so proud of you, dude. You're always there. Always there in the fight, buddy.
Yeah, I know. I love you, cuz, and I can't wait for tomorrow, and I can't wait for this weekend. Go
What are you
Eagles!
going to do special for your birthday, real quick? What are you doing special for it?
Going to the Phillies game tomorrow.
Are you? Oh,
Yes.
the bastard going to the fightings. I
The
love
fighting
it, Ben.
Phillies, yes, we're going to win tomorrow. We're going to beat the
That's
Cubs.
right. You're beating the Cubs. That's it, buddy. Listen,
All right.
you have a great birthday, pal, okay?
Thank you.
All right. God, we love you, buddy. There he is, our man, Ben from Montgomeryville, who is always in on the fight against autism. He's a beautiful, beautiful soul, my man, Ben. All right. It's, we always take a look at the end of the week with our man from the Phillies Fun and Games department. He's the man, our buddy, John Brazer. Fridays with Braze.
And how are you?
Good, buddy. I'd be better if we get out of this little malaise that we found ourselves in San Francisco.
Tell you what, we there's no gray area. We go on win streaks, we go on lose streaks. We go on win streaks, go on lose streaks. So it'd be nice if we just kind of patterned out a little or mellowed out a little bit and kind of have been a little more consistent. But, I know Corey Seidman wrote a really good piece in NBC Sports Philadelphia. And part of the problem you can see is that the Phillies, we have a 232 on average with as a team, 318 on base percentage, 324 OPS. The league average is 254, 335, 412. So, of course, we are looking at that. We're not good. And then conversely, our pitchers have allowed a 294 average with runners in scoring position, 360, 463. So with runners in scoring position, we're not getting it done from a hitting point of view. We're not getting it done with a pitching point of view, especially when you compare it to the league average.
What's up with Walker? My God.
Yeah, and then Taijuan Walker, obviously, he was trying to do a big deal and just he couldn't get out of the first inning. So we need these guys. I said this, every time I come on with you guys. We need our starting pitchers to certainly not get knocked out in the first inning, but go 6 innings, 7 innings. Because then if we have a rested bullpen, and we have some injuries in there, but if we have a rested bullpen, we're fine. But when we don't, we put too much. We're taxing too much of the bullpen because the starting pitchers don't go, and then that's a big problem. And again, we've got to get that runners in scoring position is a huge, huge problem with us. We were 2 for 25 with runners in scoring position against the San Francisco Giants.
Yeah.
We left 27 guys on base, and conversely, the Giants went 12 for 30.
Yeah.
And they hit 400 with runners in scoring position. So we need to reverse that trend.
Yeah, and you know what? Schwarber needs to start hitting.
We just got to put a calendar down there and tell him it's June. It's not May, it's June, because that's when he gets his legs, I guess. So, and I know Trey Turner's not. I guess it's and you've seen this with a lot of guys. Maybe they put too much pressure on themselves, but Trey Turner's been on different teams. It's not the first time he's got traded or is playing with a different team. And he's going to come back. He's going to come back to be who he is. But right now, he's chasing a lot of pitches out of the strike zone, and maybe he's putting too much pressure on himself. So we just need to get back. We are. It's pretty much the same team as last year, and we did really well with runners scoring position.
Hey, by the way, same team last year, but you added Trey Turner. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, listen, I know Reese, but Trey Turner, one of the premier players in the game. So, here's the one thing you always got to remember. It's baseball. So you can't freak out in May. You can't freak. You just got to let it play out a little bit because that Trey Turner at some point will hit and will be big.
And Schwarber is going to catch fire. Harper's obviously is. How about Harper? I mean, the guy. It's just unbelievable. We talked about it last week, but the guy came back the quickest ever to come back from Tommy John surgery, and look what he's doing. So and this lineup has the potential of being a very scary lineup. A couple teams have said this is the scariest lineup they have faced. Now, again, we got to do it with runners in scoring position and hit when it counts. But I still have confidence in this team. We are less than 2 months into the season, but it's starting to get to the point where they need to start putting it together.
It's like last year. Remember last year, we've chronicled this. They were 20-26, and that's when the hot streak came.
Yep. Yeah. So it's and you know what? Two better teams to do it. We got the Cubs and the Diamondbacks. They're not, they're no slouches. The Cubs are 19-24. The Diamondbacks aren't. Actually, are doing pretty well.
I actually like the Diamondbacks. I think Diamondbacks are good. They got a good lineup.
Major League Baseball and hitting. They got all these young guys. You don't know their names, but
Carroll,
they do have a good lineup.
There's a kid, Carroll. He's a lefty who is
Corbin Carroll. They got Christian Walker. He's got 11 home runs.
Yeah, Christian Walker is one of our kids. You got Zach Gallen, one of our kids. Gallen is a terrific, young pitcher, man, who's really good. I actually like their team. Cubs, I know Suzuki hit a couple bombs the other day.
Patrick Wisdom's got some power, but hopefully, I know they got Cody Bellinger who twisted himself up. I think has hurt his knee going for a catch. But yeah, they got Trey Mancini, Dansby Swanson. But it's fine. Ian Happ, but I think.
Yeah, come on, man. I need to get well against these teams too.
Yep,
Even though I like Arizona, you got to get well against these teams. Come on now.
I totally agree with you. So, I know Stroman's on the mound tonight versus Ranger Suarez.
What do you got going at the ballpark? You always got something fun.
We have a lot of stuff going on in the ballpark. We have Armed Forces Weekend all weekend. The players will be wearing some camouflage hats. There'll be camouflage socks. We have a Fanatic Reading About program on Sunday. But, one of the cool things is Tuesday, Cricket Brazier. You've never met Cricket Brazier. Cricket Brazier is our dog, and it is Bark in the Park night on Tuesday night. Now, it's sold out.
That's fabulous.
We have 350 dogs come to the ballpark, and Cricket Brazier is going to be one of those 350 dogs that's there. Yeah, so it's
this is Tuesday night?
Tuesday night right now. The dog portion's sold out. But we do have
can I bring Gagoots?
For the human end. I don't know. It's going to take a special favor, because I just heard it right there.
Yeah, it's my Gagoots.
Yeah, so
I probably shouldn't. I wouldn't risk the Goots. The Goots. You know how many baseballs the Goots has chewed up and ruined?
A lot. I bet.
Yes, I have tons of baseballs thrown around in my house, as you can well imagine, as I'm on my way to a 10U baseball tournament in Hershey this weekend.
There you go.
For young Massimo. But the Goots just rips up my baseballs and it pisses me off. And I keep telling Massimo, keep them in the bucket. Keep them in the bucket. Don't let Goots ruin it. So what about Cricket Brazier? Does Cricket Brazier feast on baseballs too?
No, Cricket's a little guy, or girl, I should say. She is about 15 pounds. She's a Cavachon, a cross between a Bichon and a King Charles Cavalier.
Nice.
She is more scared of dogs, so she'll be probably just jumping. Whenever she sees a dog, she'll be jumping up the leg of either my daughter or my wife. So yeah, she's a little scared of other dogs.
That's gonna be tough running the bases with her, with all those dogs, man.
Yeah.
But
it is fun. They got a little caricature artist up in the break, up in the right field area. We've got a photo booth for the dogs. It's really fun. It's a fun night.
That's fabulous, bro. That's awesome.
Yep.
You guys always do fun stuff, man.
And then we end a series. It's 6-game homestand, 3 against the Cubs, 3 against the Diamondbacks, and we have the 105 start next Wednesday. So, and then the team goes back on the road.
Who's on the road? What's the next road trip?
Right after us, we basically go to Atlanta. We start going into the NL East.
Yeah, that's right. I thought it was Atlanta.
Yeah, we got Atlanta for 4 games. Then we get the Mets. We get the Mets for 3, and then we get the Nationals for 4. And then we come back with Detroit and Dodgers at home.
Wow. Yeah, listen, it gets for real. Braves are nasty, brother.
They are. But we've done pretty well against them recently. It's obviously the playoffs.
Of course.
So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm with you. All right, buddy. Always, you're the best, man. We love you.
And
Fridays with Braves. You too. Go Fightins. Yeah, I'm with you. Go Fightins. 610-632-0975. 610-632-0975. Phone calls coming up. Big news today. Keith Pompey report. Harden looks to be going back to Houston in free agency.
Group Station, official home of the Sixers, Flyers, Union, and the best Eagles talk in Philadelphia. 97.5 The Fanatic.
All right, 11:50 across the Delaware Valley. All right, we've been real busy all morning. Let's get to all of our friends and check it. Check it in with you guys, man, and what you guys are thinking, and what are you smelling, right? And what are you feeling? We talked a lot about hope early on. Do you have any left? I want you to. Let's go to Tim. You're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Hello, Tim.
Yo, what's going on, cuz?
How are you, Timmy?
Hey, thanks for taking my call, man. Yo, I'm all about the positive vibe bowling, and I truly believe you got to live that way in order for good karma.
I agree.
The Sixers, man, had me depressed this last week, and all week I've been having dreams of Luka and Embiid. Luka and Embiid. You put Luka on this team, bring him to the East, he's disgruntled. He's not happy there. We just lost Harden. Let's do it. We'll trade Tobias, Maxey, maybe even a couple picks. But I want Tim Hardaway Jr., and I want Luka Doncic as the Philadelphia 76ers. This city will go nuts. Nobody wants Kyrie. Nobody wants Chris Paul. Give us Luka. I want a job, but Ja's too much of a head case. I want Luka. How do you feel?
Listen, I love Luka. I love Luka. You know who else loves Luka? Mark Cuban loves Luka.
Yeah, so you're right.
So you ain't getting Luka.
Not for nothing. I mean, like maybe Tyrese, Tobias.
He's a cornerstone for them. I mean, he's a build around, top 5 player. There's no way in the world they'll move him.
Man, I would love it though. Thanks for taking my call.
You got it, buddy. You got it. Yeah, I mean, listen,
I would take Luka
in a second.
That'd be fun.
In a second, I would love it. I would love Luka, but the problem is, again, with Luka, you ain't getting him. That's the problem, because we all want Luka. We all want to raid other rosters and go, I want this guy.
Right.
Mark Cuban goes, huh? Luka Doncic? No.
All right, then give me Embiid. That's what he would say.
Right.
He's not going to say, you know what? That deal. Give me Tobias.
Right.
And Shake Milton. Make the salary work.
Yeah, that's a shame. I mean, listen, there's certain guys, the realistic nature. Now, I don't know, like the Dame thing, I don't know, is that doable? I mean, that could be doable. There could be some stuff that you can finagle because he is an older player. Right, he's an older player, and he's a guy that, in a rebuild situation, maybe there's something that could be had there.
So yesterday, Ant, speaking of Dame.
Oh, Dame.
Remember, I told you, it all started when somebody by the name of Alexa tweeted out about Trailblazers fans that were talking about trading Dame, and he said, well, then go ahead and sign a petition, get me out of here. She then tweeted out, Dame was obviously trolling. Why are you guys so dense? Go touch grass. He responded with the laughing emoji to that. So the question is, was he trolling or was he not? 610.
So he likes to screw around, don't he?
He does. It's a flip-flopper.
He plays with you. He does. I mean, who knows what happens? This league.
Still take him.
In a second. Are you kidding me? In a second. In a heartbeat. Any way you can do it.
Oh, man, the Fink. He's going to enjoy a glass of the Harden wine tonight, celebrating the fact that Morey's not giving Pop Jim $200 million.
Pop Jim.
They call him Pop Jim.
Yeah, I'm with you. Pour me a glass, Fink. Pour me a glass. We will celebrate together. The idea of being in kind of this kind of hell, with all, like, it's just you're going all in on Harden. I can't do that. That's a scary thing Right?
Yeah, and that's what it is. All in on Harden.
Yeah,
you go 4 years, $200 million. You're going all in. Like this is the team.
I need options, man. Because I don't believe in it.
Right. Exactly.
Like I don't believe that he's got that kind of. First of all, I don't believe that those two work. I don't think that's a great, healthy marriage for the long term. And I just don't know what he's got.
Especially if he's already talking about sacrificing his game after a year and a half.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
He's played, 100 games with the Sixers? Not even?
Yeah.
And he's talking about sacrificing his game for the betterment of the team.
Yeah.
But it's almost like hey, guys, how about I get a little bit more love? I sacrificed my game.
Yeah.
The guy had a great season. I will say it over and over and over again. He had a great season. I just don't know if he could do that for 4 more years.
No. Good luck.
Right.
Good luck.
If he opted in and played 2 more seasons, I would have dealt with it.
My man, Daddy Mufasa on Twitter, because I'm down bad, haven't been able to turn a single NBA second-round game on. A single NBA second of playoffs on. Any help? Can't do it. He's watched the game 6 to 10 times. He's watched game 6 10 times.
Why are you doing that to yourself, bro? Like, that's fine that you don't want to watch the Eastern or Western Conference Finals. I make no bones about it. But why are you
Dude, I can't. I'm like Daddy.
Why are you torturing yourself?
I have not watched.
Oh
game
yeah, that's
6.
what I'm saying. Like, dude, are you okay?
I watched it once again. Like I watched it for a second time, just the last 6 minutes. So I needed to watch it to see it again, to see the mistakes and everything. But I have not watched it 10 times.
No, you're
like
torturing
Daddy
yourself.
Mufasa.
You're not changing history.
Yeah.
You're not. Harden's gone now. He can't hurt you no more. Like, what are you doing to yourself?
Yeah, but the same thing. I can't watch playoff ball either.
Didn't Daddy Mufasa also re-watch the Super Bowl like immediately?
Yes. He's a true blue Daddy Mufasa.
True blue psychopath. He's hurt. He's hurt himself.
Well,
what are you rewatching this stuff?
Prediction pain.
Come on, man.
Well, it's what you do. It's what you do. It's not like he has a choice. He's willed to do that.
I have a choice. I'm not.
Well, I don't know. Mufasa is. Mufasa is, there's that, the self-flagellation. Whipping yourself. That's what it is akin to.
But why do you have to do it? I have not done it. I'm not going to do it.
Some people are willed to do that, to punish themselves.
That sounds awful. Like the girl Alexa said, go touch grass. Or in my case, smoke it. Just get away from it, man.
My case.
Like, come on, man. Like, get away.
She said touch grass. You said smoke it.
Get away from Game 6, dude. You're only hurting yourself.
Yeah, I got nothing for you, my brother. Listen, I feel the same way. I don't know. You know what? I'm going to go get some Hershey's chocolate and watch 10-year-olds play baseball. I got to figure out how far So apparently the tournament is not actually in Hershey.
Ah, okay.
It's on the outskirts of Hershey.
It's like one of those New York Giants games.
That's what TV Todd said. TV Todd coming up at 1, would you say 1:30?
1:30, yeah.
Okay, give him some chance to breathe. He's got some good stuff for us.
It's like the New York Giants.
Take us into the weekend.
East Rutherford, the New York Giants. So it's probably like the Hershey tournament, but you're not actually in Hershey.
Yeah, I don't know. At some point, I guess the kids will want to go. But the kids love being in a hotel. Come on, the first time you were in a hotel, yeah.
Dude, well, I've told you, all our tournaments were at Reading, and we stayed at a Sheraton. And you know how some hotels have the restaurant in the parking lot? We had a Hooters. And so there's a bunch of, 12, 13, 14-year-old boys.
Sure.
Playing baseball. And then the dads would go, here's $20. Go get yourself some wings.
Yeah.
And we would go to Hooters and hang out there for like 6 hours.
That's all right, dude. That's pretty good, man.
Listen, I wasn't thinking about Hershey.
No, you're right. Classic.
Rite of passage, man.
It is a rite of passage. One of the parents, actually, he's a grandparent of one of our players. He's a sommelier. The
drink stinks.
There's a nice,
Sorry,
they're a wonderful group of parents, right? So he's a sommelier, and he goes, I'm going to bring some stuff up for the parents.
That sounds nice.
From his stash. So I'm good. I'm good, my man. I'll have my glass getting ready to pour. Where are we at there, Tunis? Let's talk to Mark. You're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Hello, Mark.
Hey, Cuz. Hey, Tunis.
What's up, Marky?
Well, I was down after the last playoff series, but hearing that news that Harden is most likely going to go back to Houston just rejuvenated me, and I was wanting to run something by you. If we could trade Tobias to New York, pick up Randall, he's a better offensive scorer, and do whatever we can to get Damian Lillard. I want to do everything I can to keep Maxey, but if he has to go in the deal, I got to say bye.
So let me ask you. So you're trying to get Julius Randle?
Well, for Tobias, just to
see. The Knicks won't do that.
I heard that they're getting tired of him.
Yeah, but there's getting tired of him, and there's giving him away for Tobias.
I know. I'm pulling at strings here. I'm trying anything.
Listen, if you call Worldwide West, who's up in New York and can get that deal done, man, I'm in. You know what I'm saying? I'm with you, brother. I just think it'll be tough. I think it's a tough ask.
I'm just happy Harden's not coming back.
I know, dude. I feel. You know what's funny is that the whole fan base is united in that front. I think.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Did we talk to anybody who thinks it's a good idea to bring him back? Are there good? Right? I don't think so.
It's not even the age. I know that he's declining some, but it's the fact that he shows up when he wants to, and when he's checked out, he just quits. I can't have.
Yeah, I think he genuinely he gives you effort every game. I think he cares. I don't think it's that, but I agree with you. When he's bad, he's just it. There's no getting out of it. So I feel you on that, brother. I do.
Love you guys.
Have a great weekend, my brother Mark. Thank you. We love you, buddy. No, Judas, that's the thing. Have we talked to anybody that thinks it's a good idea to bring him back?
No. I don't think so. I mean, I think everybody's just kind of done. No, it's fatigue at this point.
Right. And the issue is those games that he played poorly, and I remember talking to Legs, and Legs going, get him off the court. Get him off. I'm like, what? Take the ball from – I'm like, yeah, take the ball from him. But you can't – you got to – they were so thin, there was no way. Doc Rivers not taking him off the floor.
No,
but if he's not getting that call, early about him. This is what's scary with him in the playoffs. When he's not getting the call, or if he's not, focused, laser-focused in, some of those passes are – you go, yo, dude.
Yeah, and if you're not getting that call in the first quarter, you're probably not getting it in the second or third. And It's only going to pile up his emotion, right? And he's going to get annoyed with it. And, look, you've played sports before. You start barking at an official, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to be inclined to then give you the call.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
There's a pitch that I thought's questionable, and I bitch and moan about it.
You're out. Forget about it.
That pitch might be a little bit more outside. It's still a strike. Because screw this kid, this punk.
I know. I know.
Come on. Oh.
No, I know.
16-year-old chewing his pipe down.
Shut up.
You're not making it anywhere within this sport.
Shut up, son. Shut up. Yeah, in case you just missed it, there's a report by Keith Pompey that says that Harden is expected to sign with the Rockets. So we'll see if there could be some sort of sign and trade, because there is a good relationship there. So we'll see whether it's a 3-team trade, whether it's just a trade and trade is something else. We'll see what could possibly happen with this whole situation. Right?
Yeah, I mean, we just kind of keep an eye on it, and it's probably the best thing if he goes back to Houston at this point.
Well, let's see what the Prophet has to say. Prophet? Hello, Prophet?
Yeah, what's up there? What's up, Tuna?
What's happening, Prophet?
I don't know. You sound good today.
I got my voice back, man. It came back, Prophet.
Hey, you sounding like Vito Corleone. There wasn't enough time. There wasn't enough time, Glenn. There wasn't enough time. I wanted this for Santino, but you know, hey, look, anybody that comes to you with that Harden, Zini, Vito, they're a traitor. And then make man an offer he can't refuse. hey, cuz, listen, I'm glad. That's how you sound it. Hey, I'm glad that we lost because I wanted to get rid of Doc. That's the good thing about it. I wanted him gone from the beginning of the year. He wasn't playing the young boys. He wasn't playing the young bulls. I'm glad he gone. I'm glad Harden gone. Adios to him. And I don't think we need another superstar. I think we need a coach like Sporto that's going to, like the Miami coach, that's going to develop our young players. That's what we need.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, like, who's the young players that are going to come in and make a difference?
Springer, you got Springer there. You got King. You got King there. Sporto is running players that's undrafted, about 3 or 4 players that went undrafted. We can go and get undrafted players the same as Miami.
But you still need who's playing the role of Jimmy Butler?
Max.
I love Tyrese, but you know, is Tyrese Jimmy?
Yeah, Max can do anything you tell him to do.
Yeah,
and not only that, yeah, I think so. Then not only that, you get a coach that's going to put Paul Reed in the 4. Reed and Embiid.
Yeah, I'm not feeling that Embiid Reed situation. I don't think that would work, but I don't know. Listen, I feel you, brother. I know you wanted the Doc out. I trust your instincts, Prophet, and I know you wanted the Doc out. So that's at least one thing. I do think, though, however, they need another player, brother. I do.
Like who? Who you gonna get?
Well, I got to figure it out. If I'm the eel, I got to work it. I got to figure it out. I need a real player.
Don't end up with Kyrie Irving now. Get Kyrie Irving down here. Get Ben Simmons back.
Well, what if I'm desperate? Can I go Kyrie if I'm desperate?
Yeah, we can go.
Yeah.
Hey, well, I'm happy anyway, and I'm gonna tell you something that you taught us. You taught us this during the Phillies season.
What's that, my good brother?
Enjoy the journey. You said enjoy the journey, and that's what we have to do. Not most. Enjoy the journey. That's all you.
You're a good man, Prophet. I love you, Prophet. You're good people, man. The journey, in my eyes, with this Sixer team was short, too short. Like, I would have enjoyed it if it went to the finals. Like, if they would have lost, thanks, Prophet, love you, buddy. Have a great weekend. Tunis, if they would have went in and went to the finals and lost some epic series against the Jokic and the Nuggets, I go, so be it. Right? Yeah. That's what it is. That's what it is. All right. It's yet another. But they got to the finals, right? Like, then they get to the final. Go, all right, you got past the threshold. I enjoyed the journey. I did not enjoy this journey.
No, this journey ultimately sucked. Game 1 was a lot of fun. Games 2 and 3 sucked.
It wasn't a journey. It was a trip around the block. You know?
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, the first round, all right. Like, to be a journey, you got to get to the finals. This was just a jaunt, not a journey. And it was a haunted jaunt.
Yeah, you got on at Broad and Cecil and got off at Broad and Susquehanna. You went one subway stop.
Yeah, I mean, You had to beat the Celtics for me to go, this was worth it, and the whole thing. Like, you had to beat Boston. Had to. You had to beat it.
Yeah, I mean, because that series, like, we're not looking back and go, man, that Nets series was fun.
No,
that was business.
Yeah, I mean, they stink, that Nets team.
Nobody enjoys business.
No, listen, I'm one. I can see I'm a positive person. However, we're going to keep it. I also want to keep it 100%. And if you're keeping it 100, that was not a journey. Like, I will tell you, I enjoyed the Phillies journey. I enjoyed the Eagles journey, even though they should have won the Super Bowl. I love that journey. It was a great time. It's a great season. You know, I mean, what a season they had. Even though I feel like we was robbed at Charlie a little bit. You know, I still loved it. Like, I loved the whole thing. All right. Lots to do. 610-632-0975. 610-632-0975. We got your calls coming up. We got Kevin Negandhi coming up. Cuz Radio with the Tunis right here. 97.5 The Fanatic. Let's talk about Meineke for a second. Meineke, you need to know Meineke because we got to make sure that we extend the life of our vehicles. Very important. And Meineke's got you covered, all that stuff. Semi-synthetic oil changes start at $29.95. Full synthetic oil changes start at $59.95, up to 5-quart standard filter plus disposal fees. How about your car's warning bell? Is it dinging? Is there a check engine light that's on? Those lights, torture. But if that stuff happens, guess what? Just take it to your local Meineke. Yes, right now when you go there, you save $10 when you spend $50. You save $20 when you spend $150. You spend $50 when you spend $400 or more. And it's something going on with your brakes. If you got issues, 50% off brake pads and shoes at your local Meineke Car Care Center. Go to Meineke.com, Meineke, Meineke.com. For all your needs, Meineke for tires and brakes and batteries and exhausts. Meineke doing car care right.
Fanatic Sports Update.
Harden could be on the move. Amanda Sal Tunis in this update.
Roofing and Exteriors. Drafty windows, Anthony's got you covered. Siding cracked, missing, maybe showing some little signs of mold. Anthony Labruciano has you covered. You got a tired, leaky roof? Anthony Labruciano has you covered. It's no wonder why Labruciano Roofing and Exteriors was named Contractor of the Year for the entire Mid-Atlantic region by Certainteed. With Labruciano Roofing and Exteriors, only the best will do. If you want your home to look brand new, you just call my main man, my buddy, Anthony Labruciano, the shingle master. Trust Anthony's hundreds of 5-star Google reviews. Labruciano Roofing and Exteriors will fix your home right the first time and on time and on budget. Here's the number. Call them, 610-265-ROOF, 610-265-ROOF, or go to PARoofPros.com, PARoofPros.com. Labruciano Roofing and Exteriors, the shingle master.
More of the Anthony Gargano Show now
on 97.5 The Fanatic.
Welcome back to the Parks Racing Sportsbook inside Chickies and Pete's here in Malvern. Cuz Radio Tunis. Beautiful day. 12 o'clock hour brought to you by our good friends at Service First Heating and Air Conditioning. ServiceFirstHVAC.com. So there's a report from the New York Daily News. Stefan Bondi, who reports that Joel Embiid has the eyes of the Knicks. Isn't that right, Jonas?
Yeah, so I saw the report, and my first initial reaction is to laugh, but, who knows? When Keith Pompey tweeted out that James Harden is expected to reunite with the Rockets, that was his story. Stefan Bondi then quote tweeted it and said, "Been told since mid-season that Joel Embiid is the guy to watch for the Knicks, and Philly's playoff flameout only intensified that belief."
He's been told all season long?
Since mid-season.
Okay. Well, that makes zero sense, though.
And then somebody responded with, "The Sixers would really trade him in division, ? And he responded with, "That I have no idea. It could be very complicated and required many things to happen that are not in Knicks' control."
Yeah, there's no way in the world that they're going to trade him to the Knicks. That's the most ridiculous thing I've heard. The most ridiculous thing that I've heard. There's no way that they're going to trade him to the Knicks. No way. First of all, there's not a fit there.
Well, unless Randall's on the move and it's Brunson and Embiid.
Right. But so what? Randall. What, the Sixers going to trade for Julius Randle? I told you, we just talked about Julius Randle.
Unless, which I can't see this being the thing, they tear down shop, the Sixers.
What are you getting? Do you think Daryl Morey?
No,
This is
I don't.
why these reports, and listen, I think he's probably, I know Steph's the father, Philip Bond, used to work there, who was a really good writer. I mean, so I don't think the kid's making it up, but it's an agent, it's somebody, listen, I'm a big World Wide West fan. He's from here.
He's a powerful man.
And he runs the Knicks. And, I'm sure he's got a lot of pull. And I'm sure Embiid would love him. But, again, why would, and you have to answer yourself this question, why is the Eel, so the Eel's going to go, yeah, you know what, we're going to trade him to the Knicks. Like, what? What sense would that make?
It wouldn't. That's why I kind of laughed at it when I saw the tweet.
Like the Eels going to go, I'm going to restart it now, rebuild it. I don't have a draft pick, 23, 25, 27, and I'm going to start it now? Come on. That's not happening.
Silly season, man.
It's ridiculous.
Like you said, yesterday? The playoffs are secondary in the NBA right now.
And you can't trade him to the Knicks of all teams.
No, he would have to go out west.
Could you imagine that?
No, he would have to go out west. Like, it's plain and simple. You're not trading him to an Eastern Conference team, let alone, I know the divisions don't matter anymore, but,
right.
You know.
My man, Nicky goes, come on, dude. I can't do this girlfriend breaking up thing. Oh, Judas, all this stuff is ridiculous. See, this is what we had. Like, we just can't get a ride to the finals.
No,
and
no,
not
come
get
on,
caught
man.
up in this nonsense.
Oh, you want to be happy?
And have the Gomorrah music playing, which is already tense. Come on, man.
Wait, you expect joy out of sports?
Yeah, I do.
Come on,
yes.
man.
Yes. Yes. Let's go to Mickey. You're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Mick.
Yo, Cuz. Mick in Miami.
Mick. What's going on? Oh, there he is. What's up, Private Eye?
Pretty good, you know. This morning found some witnesses, gathered some evidence, sent a violation. Pretty cool. But, yeah.
So what was the violations? Tell me about the story.
Oh, well, this was this was like somebody using like a very large hose, like a fire extinguisher size hose, washing down the street, and they were washing a bunch of mud down the street in the storm drain. And it was like an area where there's like 4 different projects going on. So I had to interview superintendents from every site. And then finally one actually gave me some evidence of which guy it was using the hose with the video.
And what was this stuff? Did you find out? What were they doing?
It was just, they're drilling deep holes for foundation for a skyscraper, and it was just dirt from the site.
Okay.
But you know.
But it wasn't nefarious?
Nefarious. The funniest thing is that you guys, like a couple months ago, were playing like the bells, and I got you guys on the radio, and I'm pulling up to a nefarious investigation with a guy dumping oil from his boat at the marina, and I got to go meet a witness about it, and you guys got the bells playing as I get out of the car. It's pretty cool.
I love it. We had you fired up with the bells, man.
Yeah,
as you're cracking down on all the environmental thieves.
Yeah.
The violators.
So I got a little story about the Heat, and then I got some observation for what the Sixers should do.
All right, what you got?
So with the Heat, obviously Jimmy Butler, he's like a lion. He's got the eye of the tiger. So last week, when a couple of guys in the department who are big Heat fans, they asked me, like, if we have to play the Celtics, do you have our blessing? I was like, yeah, okay, I'll give you the blessing as long as Jimmy takes out the Celtics. And it turns out that's the case. The Heat, they got to beat the Celtics now. And when I showed up to work on Monday, actually it was Wednesday, because one of the higher-ups in the department is actually from Northeast Philly, good guy. And when I got in the office, he's like, oh, go check out my desk. I went to his desk. There's a bag of Ruffles that the Heat guys put on his desk, and it says Ruffles Red Hot, the brand of Ruffles, and there's a big promo print on the bag of Jason Tatum. So they put a little prank on his desk, and I'm like, oh, man, I don't know if they got my blessing anymore. But then when I did see Jimmy Butler just light up the Heat, I kind of got a little smile on my light up the Celtics. I kind of got a little smile on my face, you know. But I just can't believe that the Sixers in the third quarter came out with nothing in Game 7. And Spoelstra, they're down 7 going into halftime. He comes out the third quarter, and he scored 46 points in the third. And Jason Tatum gets 0 field goals in the fourth quarter. It's unbelievable what coaching does. To fire up the players, I guess, and take time. Actually, the Heat, they were down 7-0. The Celtics went on a run at the start of the fourth. Spoelstra, timeout. makes an adjustment. Now the Celtics can't get any points in the paint again. And
Think about the play call. Listen, I'm not putting it all on Doc because Embiid's got a big fault in this thing, and so does Harden. But, you know, what happens when Spoelstra calls timeout? How do they respond after that? When during the avalanche that happened in the third quarter of Game 7 with the Sixers, Doc called timeout 3 times, and the first 2 he called timeout, the league got bigger and bigger and bigger. They couldn't even execute after that. Like, that can't happen.
No. And so what it did, and so looking forward, I do not think they should trade Embiid, and here's why. When Embiid was drafted and then when he won the MVP, all the analysts, they've been comparing him to Hakeem Olajuwon. And I'm 31 years old. I don't remember exactly the 2 rings he won, but you do. And so Hakeem Olajuwon won his rings with the Rockets at age 31 and age 32. Embiid's 29. He's not out of time. You give him
he's not. That's exactly. No, you're right on, man. You're right on. It's not a. Listen. It's not quite honestly, and thank you for the call, brother. Honestly, I don't get all the you got to blow it up now. I don't get it. Do you really want to go through a historic mess so quick to write off the biggest asset you have? I mean, say whatever you want. Like, I think the guy came up small in Game 6 in the last 5 minutes too. But jeez, I mean, I know the MVP is overrated and it's the whole thing, and so it's an individual award. But let's not act like he can't play. People act like he stinks.
I know it's they'll never win with him. Been hearing that for years.
He's a great player.
Have you ever heard of a player? Forget Philly for a second. Just a player who's won MVP and
same year,
and cities like their fans wanting to trade him immediately.
No.
I'm trying to think of any sport.
I'd actually have to sit back and think about it.
Right. Any sport, guy wins MVP, but they're already tired of him, and so they want him traded?
Like you know what's funny? All the Embiid haters, right? During the middle of the whole series, they went back and forth on him.
Yep. Constantly, man.
As long as he's not shooting, scoring. Like, they hated when he scored 50. All right. Like, whatever. Like, he played a great game in Game 3, but Harden was incredibly awful in Game 3, but yet somehow he could have gotten the blame with it. I don't understand it. I really don't. Listen, I get he's half a moat. I understand that. I don't like that piece of it either. But maybe he's just what it is. Maybe he's got to be the second guy. Even though he's the primary guy, but because he's a big and because he's half a moat, he's got to be like the second guy when it comes out to close out. But he's a great player.
I just can't believe he's reaching to the point where people either have Embiid fatigue or, like, it's almost like Andy, right? Like, to the point where, like, Andy was very successful head coach here with the Eagles, but people were they were ready to be done with him.
Yeah.
Has Embiid reached that point?
Yeah.
He has for a lot of people. I don't know if it's the majority yet.
Yeah. I don't understand it. I get frustration, I get disappointment, I get all that stuff. Believe me, I get all that stuff. But not to the point where you're looking to blow it up and trade Embiid. I mean, I just don't
I can't
understand it. I just don't get it. And the amount of vitriol, like, the discredit. There's no better rim protector. There's things that he does that are ridiculous. Here's Pete, my man Pete Sack on Twitter says this. How about you trade Tobias in a package and get DeRozan? You know, it's funny because he would be a valuable piece because of his skill sets. You know that?
Yeah, he would be.
He would be an interesting piece. Problem is his age.
He can't shoot, too.
Well, he's a streaky shooter. He's 33. But, man, he could fill it up. At least you're a little more balanced, too. With Maxey, him, and Embiid.
Yes.
You're more balanced offensively. Kind of interesting. Oh, Tunis. Frankie, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Hello, Frank.
Hi, guys. How you doing?
What do you say, Frank?
You know, I'm Dude's brother, Anthony.
Yes, sir.
So you know my heart is true when it comes to Philly sports. And after Game 6 and Game 7, I had a dark epiphany about what's going on here. When you said this morning that hope is a good thing, you're right. Hope is a good thing when there's something good to hope for and have something good to hope in. But 15 years ago, we were hopeless. We were stuck in 8 seed, 7 seed hell, mid-20s draft picks with no superstar to back up the role pieces that we were going to get. And at that point, hope is the devil's poison. It's the devil's honey. And the ownership looks down and sees 4,000 people in the stands and goes, we got to change this. So along comes Hanky and says, I can sell this. I can make it better. So he promised us relevance. He said, stay with me. I'm going to give you relevance. And we were so desperate. And I was just as guilty to believe in a process. They made an ad out of it. They advertised on the process. They named the player out of the process of losing. And as much as you are the beating heart of this town, Anthony, as far as sports goes, and the passion of this town, Ray Didinger is the conscience. And 8 years ago, Ray Didinger said, you cannot build winning out of an atmosphere and an attitude of losing. And we built this team from bench to boardroom on losing to get to be relevant. They never.
Yeah, I disagree. Listen, I love Ray.
They never promised us a championship.
Yeah, but hold on. Now let me rebuttal. It was eloquent what you said. Beautifully stated, Frankie. Beautiful. And I love Ray to death. You know that.
Yeah.
The utmost respect for Ray. They didn't build it on losing. They just hit the reset button. That's what they did. They hit the reset button. There was no other way to get out of bad contracts. They hit the reset button. That's all that was. There wasn't anything built on losing. There was no other way to get out of bad contracts but to lose and hit the reset button. So they had to pare the roster down before they built it back up. The mistakes didn't come from that. The mistakes came from the bad decisions with talent. Faults. That was the mistake. You go through them all. Okafor, letting Jimmy go. Those were mistakes. It's a pretty little story that, it's losing, came into the boardroom. BS. It was mistakes of basketball. That's why they didn't win.
I get that. I get the mechanics of it. I'm not ignorant to the mechanics of what happened. But the attitude that Joel Embiid took on the floor in Game 6 and Game 7 is not the attitude of a winner.
That didn't come from the process. I got news for you. You know where that came from, Frank?
It did.
No, it didn't. You know where it came from? I want to tell you. You want to hear it? You want to hear the truth? The truth is, Joel was raised in a palace in Africa. His father was a general. He wasn't raised in a hut. He wasn't raised in tough circumstance. He was raised in a palace.
Well, what's Jimmy's story?
What?
What's Harden's story?
Forget Harden. Harden's irrelevant to the situation. Harden only came here because Ben Simmons didn't want to play basketball. Forget Harden. No, you're talking about Embiid. You think that atmosphere came from the process, and I'm telling you it didn't. I'm telling you it came from childhood. That he's always been a spoiled kid.
I'm not talking about one individual in particular.
That's where your mistake is. That's why I don't believe what you say. I don't believe any of that. And you are not looking at it correctly. I'm telling you, I love you, Frank.
I know.
I love you. I mean, we could disagree all day long. All this anti-process stuff is a bunch of malarkey.
I wasn't an anti-process guy. The
whole born on losing is nonsense. That went out the window years ago. They've been in the playoffs and relevant for 6 years.
Yeah, but that's not what we wanted.
What do you mean
we wanted to win?
Yeah, we all want to win. We understand that. But you can't win without relevancy first.
Now, I know, but
I mean, that's why it's nonsense.
I'm going to use one of your words, Anthony. Do you think what happened here was organic?
What? They lost? No, I don't think it was organic. I think they lost.
Well, I mean, there was nothing organic about what the Sixers did. It was organic. There was
what are you talking about?
What the Phillies did last year and what the Eagles did last year.
What are you talking about? Frank, what are you talking about? You got to tell me what you think. Why they lost? They lost because they failed to execute down the line and close out Game 6 is why they lost.
Let me ask you something. If Hanky was allowed to continue here after 3 years of tanking, you think he would have tanked the fourth year?
It's irrelevant, counselor. That's 7 years ago. It's irrelevant to today.
It's relevant to what's happening now.
It's not. Relevant. Actually, it's not relevant. What happened? Sam Hinkie is irrelevant to what's going on today, and that loss to the Celtics. Irrelevant. I throw it out, counselor. I'm sorry. This whole idea and notion that the process could put bad, stuff in the water, losing stuff in the water, is bull crap, whatever. I can't say it. It's nonsense. I'm sorry. It's nonsense.
Especially because the only remaining piece from the process that played, because I know
Embiid.
Korkmaz and Shake are still here, is Embiid. No coach, no coaches. All the assistants are new. Every player is new. There's no culture here with that.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I disagree. I think that's a sweet little narrative that people want to try to put together and create a story for the sake of creating a story. Believe me, I write stories, so I understand stories. But that's not the truth. If you actually look at it objectively as the truth is they failed. They made several key mistakes. If, I don't know, Mikal Bridges was here, forget about any of the big ones. Jimmy Butler, forget about that. But if Mikal Bridges is here, I'm telling you right now, they win Game 6.
Yeah, because you finally have a wing that can do stuff for you.
They
can play defense, they can shoot, they can score.
And they go on to the finals. And then what happens to your whole sweet little narrative about the process and losing? And stop. It's a bunch of nonsense. It is. Because if they made correct choices and didn't make all the mistakes that they made throughout the years, then it's different. Then they might have won. And by the way, the object, obviously is to win a title. That stuff's not promised, man. Ben Simmons going off the cliff. Who thinks that? That kid just not even playing. All kinds of things happened. Some of it was self-inflicted. Most of it was self-inflicted. But I don't think this is about Embiid being poisoned by the process. I just think that's his makeup. His makeup is he was a kid that was born in the palace. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, God bless. Jimmy Butler was a kid who had a different upbringing and was just is a killer. I mean, it's your makeup as a person. 610-632-0975. 610-632-0975. Kevin Negandhi's coming up next. We're going to hang out. Great conversation, though, Frankie. Love it. It's a great debate. I think it's an interesting one. Passionate. Let's talk about the mowing season. Oh, the mowing season. It's upon us, the mowing season.
best Eagles talk in Philadelphia. 97.5 The Fanatic.
All right, welcome back. Cuz Radio with the Tunis. What a bizarre time, isn't it? What a crazy time. And you know what's funny? Like, it could the way to win, like the winning, is so close. Like, there's such a fine line between winning and detonating. Like, fire the coach, not bringing back Harden. It's amazing. And there could be so many things over the course of the years that changes the result today. Like, I brought up Mikal Bridges. Like, if you had, Devon's cousin playing the wing, and you made no other move but that, nothing else. The same thing, status quo, except you got Bridges playing the wing. You probably win. And it's all this talk just doesn't happen. That's the most amazing thing of it. Anyway, we pick up the pieces.
You and I are going to pick up the pieces for a little bit longer. Kevin is teeing off on 18 right now. So, he said he would do it, but I was like, dude, just finish your round. Like, what am I going to have him do? Hit a shot and then come back? It's nice enough that he was like, I'll finish. I'll do it now. I'm like, well, what are you going to do? You can't have an empty hole in the scorecard.
Oh, that's great.
So Kevin will be on hopefully within the next 8 or 9 minutes.
Okay.
But yes, if you didn't trade Mikal Bridges, who knows how much different this is, man. I went on the rant the last 2 days now. The Sixers are the only team in the NBA that does not have a wing player that can create and score from all over the court. The only team in the NBA. Even the tanking teams have that. Sixers are the only team that don't have it.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who they've trotted out there, dude. Rocco, Thibault, McDaniels. All these guys that are athletic. You got the athletic part down.
I know.
But they can't finish near the rim.
Yeah.
And it's brick city, too. Like, it's not even like it looks good.
Yeah.
And it just confuses the hell out of me. And we keep on talking about, Philly's outfielder, developing an outfielder, or developing a starting pitcher. It's the same thing with the Sixers with wing players.
I know.
They could have had Siakam. They drafted Korkmaz and Timothé Luwawu-Cabarrot.
Yeah.
Like, they can't even identify it sometimes.
I know, dude.
That kid just drives me crazy. Every team in the world in the NBA has a wing player that can do everything.
I know it, dude.
We throw the term 3-and-D out there, like a bucket of balls, like you have, and Goots is eating all of them.
Yeah.
But we don't have 3-and-D.
Yeah.
We have 3 and maybe D. We have D and no 3. But we never have the 2. Sometimes we have both. We don't have either. We have guys out there that collect 10 minutes.
I know. Oh, my God. I know. Tell me about it. Dude, it's an interesting conversation. I will say this. Like, all this stuff is fascinating. Like Frank brings up a good. I love the debate. I just don't believe that you could explain it with like the sins of the process. The born on the losing. Oh my God, I just don't see it. I don't see it. I think it's nonsense.
I don't either. I don't like it.
I do. I think it's nonsense. Again, I would do it all over again. If I was in that situation where I had to somehow get out of purgatory, and it's the NBA. It's the NBA's rules that make it nearly impossible to get you wiggle room.
Right.
Look at these teams that are just buried, that have no chance to winning.
Yeah, the Kings made the playoffs for the first time, and we talk about 22 years getting out of the second round. Kings finally made the playoffs.
The last time the Kings were any good, remember, they had Weber,
Vlade Divac,
Marciulionis.
It's been a long time since they've been relevant.
Right.
And it's not like De'Aaron Fox is in year one. He's in the same draft as Fultz and Tatum. It took that long after he got drafted.
I know. I mean, that's just kind of what it is.
By the way, speaking of NBA rules, I've been meaning to get this to you. I just haven't really found the right time. But Brian Toporek, he covers the NBA for Bleacher Report and does some stuff Sixers related. And he puts out a good point. So Pompey put out the tweet that James Harden is expected to reunite with the Rockets in free agency.
Right.
And he quote tweeted it. And he goes, the Sixers got docked 2 second-round picks for, quote, tampering with P.J. Tucker and Daniel House Jr., even though they weren't linked to either until late June. The Rockets' Harden stuff has been circulating since Christmas. He said, surely the NBA will lay down the hammer on them, right? And then he said, LOL, because, obviously they probably won't. But that has to be something that the NBA has to work on, right? You can't affect the Sixers. And I get it, second-round picks. They're a dime a dozen, and most of the time they don't hit. But what was reported on Christmas Day that Harden was going to go back to Houston?
Yeah, except here's the problem. I think it's more of a Harden situation than a Houston situation. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Right? I mean, I don't know. I mean,
unless Houston said, yes, we'll welcome you back with open arms.
Right?
You can't even be in contact with him. You're not, he's not on your team.
Well, but I don't know if, again, maybe he hasn't had any conversations, but there's just kind of an understanding. I mean, I don't know. I mean, but from here all along, when it happened, I was like kind of upset, right? I'm like, why does he want to leave? And why is this coming out now? And then you start to hear, well, maybe it might be more of a family thing.
Right.
Because his mom lives in Houston. So, if something's up family-wise, you want to be close to your family. And I would never begrudge anybody that. So, maybe that's it. Here's what I don't get. This kid in New York's been hearing that they got eyes for Embiid.
Since mid-season, he said.
I mean, what's that about?
That I don't know. I mean, my first thought, when I told you, the first thing I did was laugh. And then I think of Worldwide West, who's a powerful man. And, maybe Worldwide West says, hey, I'm going to do whatever I can to get him. I love that, Joel Embiid. I could do that. I could be Josh Harris and say, man, I really love Giannis Antetokounmpo. I'm going to try to get him here. There might be zero shot, but you might still say it.
I just don't know where that comes about. Like, what sense that would make for the Sixers. Like, I know there's a lot of people that want to move Embiid, and for the life of me, I just think it's a mistake. Sorry. I think it's a mistake. And again, moving him for who? Like, what are you talking about?
That's the thing. You're either blowing it up.
Like, unless you're talking about something that's so interesting, so bizarre, right? Like, you got this some up and coming stud. I don't know. I can't even make it up.
No, I don't know. It would have to be a 3-team deal where you're getting.
But none of it makes any sense.
Right. You're getting Luka, like our caller said earlier today.
I don't know. Again, could you see that something happens and it's Embiid and Beal come in? Like, I could see that. He finally leaves. I mean, who knows? But I think it's got to be here. I just don't understand why you would want to be in a hurry to get. The guy is immensely talented.
He won MVP.
I think we forget that,
He won MVP, man.
I know.
Again, you said earlier that ultimately the award, it's a one-man award, didn't do anything for them with the playoffs and whatnot. But come on, man. Like, that means he's cream of the crop. That means he's very, 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 very good. And we're just going to ignore that now?
Yeah, yeah.
We were rooting for him to win MVP. And now that they lost, I had a tweet the other day, made me laugh.
I just think we're emotional as a fan base.
I had a tweet the other day that made me laugh.
And listen, he deserves to get lambasted.
Oh my God, yeah.
I'm not
until the start of next season.
I can't defend the last 5 minutes of Game 6, and I can't defend Game 7. So I'm not, and I won't, because that goes against the code, right? Like, it goes against the code. So I'm not going to. But he's got to, and he's got to own the loss. But that doesn't mean I want to trade him. Like, that's ridiculous. All right, let's go to the phones. Let's go to where we at. Gary, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Gary.
Hey, boys.
What do you say, Gary?
Oh, man, I'll tell you, you just answered everything for me, man. It's how he grew up. I mean, the guy is so soft. And, cuz we're never going to change him. You know what I mean? The guy ripped my heart and soul out. He ripped the whole city's heart and soul out with this. And you're absolutely right about this.
The what, buddy?
You hear that?
Yeah, I miss you. Zot's out. So, but here's the thing. I don't want to trade him, though, Gary. Like, I think it's foolish to trade him.
Because it's like a 9-year marriage. The guy's been here 9 years. You know what I mean? And we've won absolutely nothing with him.
Yeah, but is that his? Seriously, he is what he is. He's a great, great talent. The issues of why we didn't win a title aren't directly to him. It's what's been around him.
Because the heart and soul, man. Just watching them moping out there, crying.
Listen, I agree with you. I'm not defending that. I agree with you. But the basketball piece, brother, the basketball piece, like you can't throw away the baby with the bathwater. Is my advice to you. I know it bugs me too. I mean, it's to bug me about McNabb. The mope, but he's way better than McNabb was at quarterback.
Really? Well, cuz I want to bring up a positive. I'm your hockey guy. I'm your hockey referee. The Flyers won the Stanley Cup May 19th. Wow. Our first cup, man.
Wow.
Let's give it up for Bobby, Bernie, all the boys, and hopefully Jonesy can bring it all back.
I love that. That's right. That's right. Today's the anniversary of the cup.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, what was it? Tell me about it, dude. Tell me about what was
come on. Rick McLeese tipped it in on Jill Gilbert, Boston, and we won the first cup 1-0. And then the next year, Hound Dog Kelly in Buffalo scored the winning goal. We won the second cup. So hopefully, I'm 63 years old. I'm hoping to see a couple more cups before it's all over. You know what I mean?
Amen, brother. Amen. Thank you for sharing that. In fact, I had told the Tune, appreciate it, my brother. I told the Tunis about today's anniversary.
Yes, I forgot to add it into the vault. Maybe it's because they have not been on my mind, but I should not disrespect heritage and history.
Did you find something just to give us a little snippet of what that was like?
Yeah, I played in the vault, I think, like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
You dig something up? Like, is there something up there about what happened today when they actually won the cup? Well, could you imagine what this city was like?
Oh, I'm sure it was insane.
I was a tiny, tiny tot, so I don't, I have no recollection.
Especially because they were the bullies, right? Like,
right. I mean, my recollection was just, years after when you learned about it. But man, I mean, I can only imagine that moment, what you were if you were back in the day going nuts. Cause I mean, can you believe this? 50 years for a Stanley Cup, 40 years for an NBA title.
Yeah, somebody hates us. Like, why?
That's entirely too
long. Why is that a thing? Somebody hates us. Let me see. I gotta see how this sounds. Hold on, live radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Flyers are going to win the Stanley Cup. The Flyers win the Stanley Cup. The Flyers win the Stanley Cup.
The dulcet sounds of Gene Hart. Wow. You have any game audio?
I'm trying.
Thanks, brother. I listen. It's off the cuff, so
I know I have because I played something in the vault.
I just want to hear.
I played the McLeish goal like 2 weeks ago. So I know it's. I have it in here
somewhere. I'll let you just hear it. Be interesting. Eric, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Hello, Eric. Hey, Eric. What's that? What we got? Ryan, you're on 97.5 The Fanatic. Hello, Rye.
Yo, man. Tunis. What's happening, fellas?
What's up, my brother?
I'm glad I'm able to get in here on the Sixers, probably last day for quite some time that you're really going to get into this team. It was a lot of fun last week hearing you guys after that Game 5 and Max Smith and just getting me hyped. I had some money on the Sixers for the conference, too, and was feeling really good, and everything looked good, and kind of fell apart the last 5 minutes. But one thing I want to talk about before I even get into what I think the Sixers need to do in the offseason is the Kaiser Soze of the Philadelphia 76ers folklore, Jimmy Butler. I don't know how this guy limps away here and just all the accolades that he seems to have in this town, because I don't think he was coming back here. I don't know about you, Wayne, but did you see him actually not going to Miami because of God forbid they offer up maybe a slightly less than full max when he comes off of 5 for 14, 1 for 6 from 3 for that game 7. I mean, they're going to give him the max, and he just kind of twisted it, and now he walked away, and we're looking at him like he's the golden boy. I don't get it.
Well, I mean, the problem with Jimmy is he does show up like you're right about that game 7, and he had his own issues. He was staying at a different team hotel that day. He didn't go to team shoot around. He was at odds with Brett Brown. I mean, you're right that Jimmy was a headache, right? He was a big time headache. But man, it's hard to always say, like, when he comes with balls out, he wins games by himself. I mean, it's hard not to think, what if, Because he did love Embiid.
But
it's funny. He and Embiid are the perfect match because Embiid's got such immense talent, and Jimmy leads Embiid into the wilderness, into the fight.
I've heard the line comparison. I hear you on all that. I think at that time he wasn't a three-point shooter, and actually I disagree. I don't think they work together because they're working from the same spot at the foul line and just kind of maneuver from there. And furthermore, I mean, Jimmy Butler the next 3 years, if he doesn't slide his foot under Giannis in that bubble, he's not getting to the finals. And then they slam him in the back 2 years later, and so they get past the Bucks on this one. The year before that, I think Giannis does the same thing to Kyrie. He gets it in his head, and he takes him out when their back's against the wall. But
yeah, I mean, you can't deny him by himself. Yeah, I hear you, buddy. Listen, I appreciate the call. I do. I just think the dude, listen, he's a pain in the ass, but he is the lion. I keep going back to it, and I think that's undeniable. All right, let's go to the golf course. He's actually on the golf course right now. Just finished 18. How'd you hit him, Kevin? The great Kevin Negandhi.
Golf is a sport where, honestly, you hit 2 or 3 shots, and it's the only reason why you come back. All the other, 50, 60, 70 shots, you just write off. You come back after a couple of them because the tee shot was beautiful. And the greens where I was playing here in Farmington it's like on an ice rink, so they wouldn't stop. And that wasn't forgiving when you're trying to make some money.
All right, well, listen, we're in a bad state, Kevin. A bad state, an ugly state of the process of what happened in a Game 6 to close it out and a Game 7 where they quit in the third quarter. Not good, Kevin. Your thoughts?
And I'm in the state that you're in. I'm in the state I think that any Sixers fan has been in when they lost and how they lost Thursday night. That was the difference. Those final 6 minutes, you just sit there and you're like, how does he not just shoot the basketball for the final 4 minutes, right? And the scary part is, the way the structure of the cap is and the roster, we don't have any flexibility. And I just listen. If you're going to lose Game 7, you're going to lose Game 7. But we've always talked about this. What's the identity of this city? You go down fighting, regardless. You go down fighting, no matter what the situation is. Have some pride, and to have no pride in Game 7. And I'll be honest with you. Like at halftime, it was a 3-point game. I went to go work out, and my 2 boys are like, "Where you going?" I said, "Well, if they don't care, I'm not going to really care right now. Wow. I'm going to go work out." And I'm going to have the TV on in the background, but I'm not going to have this ruin my day. And then we saw how the third quarter.
You did?
My
God.
We've been down this road before with this team, right? The body language. And listen, it's not
my God. You left at halftime?
Well, no. I had the game on. I was just no longer as invested because I'm like, I'm going to be productive on the rest of this day. And I also know that the DNA is not in this point guard. When you see what he was doing, once he starts missing 2 or 3 shots at the beginning of the game,
listen, you're right.
Curtains. It's curtains. And the body language. And then, they were up by 8 points that one play where he's on a 2-on-2 break, and Harden has Embiid trailing right behind him. And then he gets whistled for the foul against Jaylen Brown, and that just changed the entire dynamic. And we shouldn't be in a free fall emotionally as a team at that point. But you follow the body language of that player, and that is James Harden. And it was awful. It was awful. Just because your shot doesn't fall doesn't mean everybody else has to feel that way. And I just can't buy in, man. And I know they're in a position where, hey, they're not going to get anything in return, and, hey, get ready. They're a team that's going to be middling all over again. But I can't root for James Harden on this team over the next 4 years if he comes back. It's just really hard.
Well, not at $200 million either.
Hard.
At $200 million, you want that?
100%. Who wants to see
listen, I agree with you. I think it's actually good for the Sixers for him to move on. Now, here's the question that we've been wrestling with.
Yeah.
What do you do with Embiid? Because there's a lot of people. Now, I think it's ridiculous, but there's a lot of people that want to blow it up. I don't want to do that. I want to keep at it. I still think that he's a great player. He just might need someone else that just fits with him better, that can close better. I don't, again, we talk about Damian Lillard
we won't be in this position next year if Harden's not on the team. I mean, they led the league in the assist category, right? But if you're going to grow with Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid, you've got to take a little lumps here. I would imagine Tobias Harris, with that expiring deal, Darryl will get creative to try and find something, right? But the problem is that they need winning DNA. And, okay, and I don't want to overstate this. P.J. Tucker is the classic example of winning DNA. He doesn't fill up the box score, but he holds everybody accountable. Jimmy Butler, he'll hit the big shot, but he holds everybody accountable. There's certain players that hold people accountable. Now, the gap between P.J. Tucker and Jimmy Butler is dramatic, but they have to find players that understand winning DNA. Regardless of the circumstances and the situation, not everybody's head is down, and the body language, and all of a sudden now, you can't stop this small snowball, which has turned into an avalanche. We have experienced that how many times that you're looking up and be like, will somebody stop the bleeding here and get us a bucket? And I still can't believe in the final 4 minutes of Game 6, Joel had no shot. Like, multiple timeouts should have been called, and maybe they were called, but they should be directed, hey, no matter what, he is getting the ball down low. We need to get him to the free throw line. We need to stop it while we're sliding and falling apart right now, and we see Tatum knocking down threes in that momentum. And I just don't understand. I
mean, not for
sometimes
nothing. What, are you kidding
I bang
me?
my head on it. What's that?
Not for nothing. I mean, seriously, like, how do you not get the ball, demand the ball?
Yeah.
12 feet, 14 feet for the basket, get it, and then attack the rim. You shoot 90% from the line. Just go get fouled. You're going to get fouled. I don't understand how that happened.
I'm 100% with you because he's not at fault. He is definitely, like, we got to hold him accountable too. Joel understands that, I think. I hope that, because he's got to be accountable for this situation as well. You've got to attack. You're the MVP, right? And Game 7 was a wash. I think everybody understood that if they didn't win Game 6, Game 7 was just, the body language just got me in watching how things played out, especially in that second quarter. And then you got in the third, and you're like, oh, it's over. Like, this is what we got. I can't believe we got punched in the face and we didn't get up and go down swinging. And that's the most frustrating part. And you brought up the idea of trading Joel. All right, listen, I was completely against it. I still am. But if there's a time to do it, you would have to think the window is soon because he's 29. And I would just hope that we don't reach a point where he requests a trade. I don't want that either, because then that's just an awful experience. And Sixers fans, I think, have been through way too much in riding this, in the belief in Joel and the growth of Joel to be even entertaining this. But here we are.
Yeah, but you can't do it now. You can't do it. You're not going to get anything in return. You know how this works. You traded Charles Barkley before.
Oh, that was awful. God, yeah.
I mean, like when you're trading stars, like what do you think you're getting? I'm going to get all the package of these ones and all. First of all, the draft is a joke. I mean, let's be real.
Well, look at what we experienced. You're right with the draft, right? Look at all the picks we had. None of them panned out, right?
Everybody's in love with young new players. Because you know why? Because we're magpies. You got to figure it out. I don't know if it's Beal, if it's Lillard, whoever it is. You got to put next to him. What do you make it? Real quick, last thing. What do you make of this Stefan Bondi report that the Knicks have eyes? Like, well, how does that make sense?
I didn't even see this report, but like, whoa. I hope that's not to unload Julius Randle on us because we don't want Julius Randle.
Not for Embiid. I mean, what are you crazy? Like, why would Morey trade Embiid to the Knicks in division? Come on.
I agree. You're 100% right. And this is Daryl Morey's biggest challenge, I think, in trying to figure out the direction of the team. Like, 100%. My whole thing though is the Harden stuff. At $200 million over the next 4 years, it will be really tough as a fan base, I think, for people to get behind it.
Yeah. I hear you. Well, my brother, you go and get yourself a cold one after that round, okay?
I appreciate you, man. I really do.
Thank you for checking in. We'll have a little elongated session next week, man. We love you, buddy. Hang in,
You got it, bud. Take care.
There he is, the great Kevin Negandhi, ABC, ESPN. With us, we'll come back. We still got our man, Todd, TV Todd, will join us coming up next. Give us some picks to watch. We got your calls. My man, Anthony. He's the best on Anthony Hobson on Instagram. Not the fans' fault. Embiid's a B and not mentally tough.
All right. Come on now.
That's what I said. I like you. Come on, bro. I love you, but come on, man. We can't go there. I mean, listen, he's still a great player, man. That's the thing. Don't stop with the move, trade, blow it up. You're not getting anywhere. All you're doing is you're scratching an itch because you feel like they need to be blown up, and that will just pound the flesh. But that's not the smart way to go. No. All right, let's talk about Colonial Marble and Granite. Yes, Colonial Marble and Granite. Man, we're talking about your kitchen, the kitchen of your dreams. It's right there waiting for you, Colonial Marble and Granite. They're here to make your dreams come true. Get a fully installed granite countertop for just $14.99 and up to 40 square foot all-in kitchen for $69.99. That includes countertops, cabinetry, sink and faucet package. Colonial Marble offers zero money down, 0% financing for up to 18 months on purchases of $19.99 or more. Stop by an area showroom. They're going to guide you through your project from selection to installation. Their flagship locations in King of Prussia.
97.5 The Fanatic.
It's 125 across the Delaware Valley. Cuz Radio Tuners. Tuners. So, Tuners, my man Bobby Cash, who I love on Twitter, says, Embiid is a great regular season player, but he's average in the playoffs. Now, come on. That's another ridiculous narrative.
You can't lie.
I mean, that's just silly.
Don't lie.
I mean, it's silly. I mean, he's not average in the playoffs. He's not. I mean, was he average in game 4, game 5? Like, did he come up small? Yeah. But he's not an average player. He's a great player. I mean, stop. Like, then we sound ridiculous.
Yeah, it gets to the point where we're lying and making stuff up just to make
to get
a point.
The pound of flesh. And again, I'm not, you know, if you say I'm just tired of it, then that's your prerogative. I just think it's foolish. He's not average. He's not a bad playoff player. He's not, he's a great player. He's got his warts. He's not the guy, first of all, he's not a face-to-basket guy from 30 feet out. He's just not that guy. Can't do it. And, yeah, he needs to be down low at times. Yeah, all that stuff people say is correct. But that doesn't mean he stinks or he's not good or he's average or he's so selfish. No, that's all nonsense.
Yeah, we can't start just saying that stuff. I mean, he literally, last year against the Heat, when he had a broken face and 2 injured hands, they were down 2-0. He comes back, they even the series at 2 apiece because of him.
I mean, he's a force. Now, does he drive you insane?
Absolutely.
Without a doubt. Is he a mope? Yes. At times, he can definitely be a mope. And I get that is not cool. I completely understand that from you. So I'm not, like, telling you that you're crazy or anything like that. I'm just saying you still have to admit he's a great, great player.
Yeah, just don't lie. Yeah.
And it doesn't make sense. I don't think it's lying. I just think it's like frustration coming out is all. All right. Let me hit you with this. You got the goal. You're leaving, Uncle Frank? Oh, you got a meeting. Oh, Uncle Frank. Big shot. All right. Good luck, Uncle Frank.
After you stole your crab fries, I'm sure?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's like a seagull, Uncle Frank. Let me hear the goal. You got today's the anniversary of the cup, the first one of only 2 cups, and the last one in 50 years. Here we go. Let's take a listen.
Same people on the ice. McLeish against Shepard. McLeish controls to DuPont. DuPont throws it and scores! McLeish touched that. He got his second goal of this series, and he lengthens his lead in the playoffs. And the Flyers have been winning all those big face-offs. The shot that was a big one. The shot looked like it bounced, but I believe it was McLeish who tipped it, and that changed the direction. We'll see it again. Deflecting it to the inside, off the heel of his stick. You'll see it here as he goes across the ice, and he deflects it off the heel of his stick, changing the direction of it. Gilbert didn't have a chance as he was right in front of him. Here's DuPont's shot. He's moving across, and the puck changes direction. That's the 6th shot that they had, Philadelphia had in this game. Boston had 14 shots. And McLeish got that big face-off as Ted Lindsay pointed out. And so a little justice there that he got the goal. His 13th playoff goal from DuPont at 14:48. A power play goal with O'Reilly off at the time.
Wow, man. Is that amazing? Is that amazing?
It's ancient.
Yeah, it is ancient. Ancient's the word, man.
That's what sucks.
50 years. 50 years, man. Very, 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 very long time. Yep. All right, we got our man.
Call him up now.
All right, you go up to Todd. Everybody else sit tight. We're going to talk to Todd for a bit, and then we'll end the show with you guys and go through the whole thing. Oh, man. We're going to go into a weekend. It's going to be beautiful. And now we got to figure out. This is always the time I hate. Always the time I hate. Oh, man. Could have been a fun time. And now I can't blame people for not watching the playoffs. I can't watch it either. I'm sick. Sick. Oh, man. Tough stuff. All right. So I got to ask my man because we need stuff to watch. And it's going to be a long spring and summer. So he's going to help us with stuff to watch. He's Todd, our TV and movie expert, Todd Schill. And there's a remake that's coming out that is I can't believe they're remaking this. And I have no interest in watching it. I love the original movie. White Men Can't Jump. One of the great movies, right? Great story. They're remaking it. And it's dropping tonight. And it kind of makes me angry that they redid it. The original was terrific. Woody Harrelson and Rosie Perez. And it's not like it's ancient. Todd. Yo, Todd.
Yo, Cousin Tunis.
What's up, my brother?
Hey, good to hear from you guys. You know, it's been a rough week, so it's good to hear from you guys.
It's been a rough week for us. It's good to hear from you to talk anything but Sixers.
Yeah, well, it's rough for both of us for the same reason. It's hard to recover after that performance on Sunday.
Yeah, dude. We're used to this, man. Did you hear we played the final Stanley Cup goal? Because today's the anniversary of the...
I know.
50 years, dude. 50 years.
That's really hard to believe. But you know what? I don't know. I feel like I have a little bit of hope right now with the new team there, you know, the management team. And I don't know. I feel like there's a little light.
Dude, 50 years. 50 years.
It's crazy.
Oh, yeah. God, you know, I'm praying for Jonesy. Let's do it for Jonesy.
Hey, we got to give it a shot. You know, listen, I know there's criticism about, well, you know, he's an ex-Flyer, but I don't know. I feel like Jonesy's one of us. I feel like
I do
he
too.
Gets it,
yeah.
Right? So I'm behind him. Let's give him a shot here.
I agree. All right. So let's talk a little of this TV and movie stuff. They're redoing White Man Can't Jump. Why?
Yeah, listen, I don't get. There's certain remakes that I just can't wrap my head around. Other than the fact that it's a cash grab, Hollywood runs out of ideas. But White Men Can't Jump, you know, that was a great film. 1992. Woody Harrelson, Wesley Snipes, Rosie Perez. I just heard you say that, but that was a great cast, and it was a great story. You know, it was a great, fun story about the basketball hustlers trying to earn some cash in the street. I loved it. I have no idea why they would remake it. That movie was really popular. The new version that just launched today on Hulu, I mean, immediately out of the gate, it's got like 30% Rotten Tomatoes, 2.5 stars. I mean, you know, it seems like they just wanted to take, you know, sort of a modern talent like Jack Harlow, who's, you know, modern talent in the music world, throw him in there, try to cash in on some of his fans watching it. I don't know. I don't get that remake at all, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't get it. You know,
like what new, you know, what are they bringing to the table that's new? Like I'll tell you, you know, you ask me all the time, like, what am I watching now? And there's a couple series on right now that I think give a much better example of how you can take an older film and you could make something new and exciting
today that's complementary to the older film. So I'll give you an example. I'm watching right now the series, the Fatal Attraction series, that's on Paramount Plus, and it's based obviously on the 1987 film Fatal Attraction, which was a cultural phenomenon when it came out. Michael Douglas, Glenn Close, Ann Archer. When that film came out, and Tunis, if you haven't seen this film, this is one that I really suggest people go back and watch because it really holds up today. But basically, it's about a married guy, who has a one-night stand, and the woman starts stalking him and his family. And it was one of those films back in 1987 that should have shook the culture. You know how, like, I often compare it to, like, how Jaws comes out and nobody goes to the beach and everyone's scared of the water, that sort of thing. Well, the funny part about Fatal Attraction is after that movie came out, there was like a remarkable decline in extramarital affairs because Glenn Close was so scary to have her infiltrate the married guy's life. So what's interesting about this remake, so I said I could say it's a remake, is back when that movie was released in 1987, it was criticized because the Glenn Close character, the woman in the affair, had bipolar disorder, and people thought it was anti-woman. It was playing on her mental disability. But so the new version, new series that's on Paramount Plus, is the same storyline. Lizzie Kaplan is the woman. She's fantastic as always in everything. She's the woman, but it gives you more insight into the woman's side of this affair. And it takes you through their whole relationship that ultimately ends in a trial. And I don't want to give anything away, but that's the way to do a remake, right? To give us a deeper dive, explain the characters, give us more background.
Yeah, man. I think you're right on. Yeah, because what you do is you provide depth to the story, which is really interesting. When you got a story and you can now provide depth to it. You know what? And I got a question for you. They were talking about doing a prequel Rocky series. Do you remember that?
Yes.
That, I thought, would have been a brilliant idea. Like, define the backstory. What was Rocky, 30? 32?
Yeah.
You remember when he gets the shot?
Yeah.
Find about his life before that leads up to that moment. It's an awesome story. I would be in on that.
Yeah, that's a really great idea because, as you know, when we first see the Rocky character, he's already really scrapping to get by, right? He's doing a little bit of enforcing some loan sharking activity, and that would be great to see that he tried to make it even younger and couldn't, and ended up in that that crime world before he gets his shot. Yeah, I agree. That would be great. See, that adds something to the story. Like, I'll give you another example because here's a series that I recommend that your audience watch. It's a current series that's on right now.
Okay.
It's called White House Plumbers. It's on HBO. And what I love about this series, so what it is it's based on the famous Watergate scandal. So, the movie back in, what year was it? Probably like 1976. All the President's Men was a famous movie, Academy Award winner, about, starred great cast. It was like Dustin Hoffman, Robert Redford, and they basically played the reporters, the journalists to the Washington Post who broke the Watergate scandal. Richard Nixon's, efforts to spy on the Democratic National Committee and break into the the Watergate hotel where that committee was had an office. So that movie, again, you know what? This is a great conversation today because that's a movie your audience should go back and watch. If they haven't watched All the President's Men, Academy Award winner, totally holds up today. Brilliant film. takes you back in time with when journalism was real, when journalism existed. And so that was a great film, and it told the story from the perspective of the journalist breaking the story. Now you have an HBO series, which is really brilliant. I love this series so far. Basically what it is Woody Harrelson, Justin Theroux, they play Howard Hunt and G. Gordon Liddy, the guys who actually broke into Watergate. And it tells you the story from their perspective, how they tried to do multiple espionage activities, black ops activities for President Nixon, and how eventually it led to Watergate, where they had tried to break in multiple times. But it's actually like a comedy. It's funny. It's drama. The comedy between Justin Theroux and Woody Harrelson is amazing. But again, it brings you a whole nother story. It's the prequel, so to speak, to All the President's Men. So I love what you said, your idea on Rocky.
Yeah, I like adding depth to story, like great stories, like great cinema that, great, these stories, these characters that came on to live beyond their time is like, to me, you go back and you add to them, there's always room to add, because you can make a great story is something that could always be added to.
That's right. I can't remember the name of it, but they took a few years back. They took the movie. What was the Stephen King film with where it was the author and he was stuck in the Misery. Yes. Misery. So what they did was they took that story of from the time period you see it in the movie Misery, where James Caan, that's right. It was James Caan.
Yeah, and what's her name? Kathy Bates.
Bates, right? And,
right.
And again, another amazing movie that holds up for your audience. It's like 1980 film or something like that. So what they did was a couple of years back on, maybe it was Hulu, I can't remember, is they gave you a whole series of the backstory of the Kathy Bates character and how she eventually, what her life was like leading up to the kidnapping of James Caan in that. And that's great. Like, we talked about it on a prior TV Todd segment a long time ago, but, how about Nurse Ratched from One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest? They did the whole series telling us the history of Nurse Ratched. See, I love that. But when you contrast that with just doing a remake of White Men Can't Jump just because you want to cash in on, a new audience that's maybe fans of Jack Harlow, I just don't get it. I don't think that's creative. I don't think that brings anything to the table.
No, I'm with you. So give us what to watch. Tell us what to do. Like, we got no Sixer. Tell us what to watch, man.
Totally brutal. So okay, Fatal Attraction's on now. White House Plumbers is on. The other series that one of your listeners turned me on to that I really loved, it just ended, was called Mrs. Davis. And Mrs. Davis was a series on Peacock. It just ended like last week. One of your listeners reached out and told me about this. I love this series. It's basically one of those series. There's a couple series right now and films that are coming out that are attacking the whole artificial intelligence world. Because obviously it's scary. Look, the writer's strike is all based on that. So in Mrs. Davis, you're at a point in life where artificial intelligence has taken over everything we do. We wear earpieces in our ear, and artificial intelligence tells us what to do. And for those people who don't believe in it, the artificial intelligence finds you and sends you on a mission to kind of loop you into believing in AI. And in this particular series, it sends this woman on a mission to find the Holy Grail, which obviously doesn't exist. And so there's a whole bunch of shows coming out about AI where eventually the main character tries to shut down AI from taking over the world. It's kind of like the Westworld. Westworld had a similar...
what's funny about it? I have been completely out on AI stuff. You know what it is? I know I shouldn't be, but it's like there's only one true story of it. Like the AI story is what it is, right? It's how to thwart it. It's going to be a problem, and it's going to take over, our society or try to or whatever. And how do you thwart it? And it doesn't have flesh, right? So maybe I just like people, and I like character, and the idea of pushing code to stop AI from taking over just doesn't give me the artistic, the artistic pleasure.
Well, if you feel that way, and look, I don't discount what you're saying, but if you feel that way, you should be a huge fan of the HBO series Westworld, which, again, is an updated, modern version of the amazing Yul Brynner movie back in the 70s. But in that movie, AI does take a physical form, and that's the whole basis of Westworld. Is that
I never saw it. Yeah, I never saw it.
Artificial intelligent beings, which are these, robotic humans that you can barely tell the difference, they start becoming self-aware. So you would love that.
Wow, that's interesting.
Also, listen, your listeners are great, man. Like, another series they recommended to me was the new Pete Davidson series on Peacock called Bupkis. Great comedy, great cast. I mean, amazing cast. Joe Pesci is amazing in it. It's a great comedy. It's loosely based on Pete Davidson's real life, being on SNL, and after that, Bupkis is called on Peacock. Loved it. So those are two that are out there right now they can watch in addition to the other two we talked about.
That's cool. So what happens, real quick, and I appreciate it. What happens? The writers' strike in Hollywood, something that we talk about. What when this thing does get settled, what'll be the fallout from it?
Well, you know what? It's a really important strike, and I'm very much behind the writers in this instance. I think the good that can come out of it is that number one, we talked about it, we don't let AI take over the whole writing process and the creating process, and we use real people and their real brains to come up with new and creative ideas that are not just based on other things. I think to protect the writers, make sure that they have enough work. The streamers have significantly reduced the number of episodes per season, the number of seasons, the amount of people in a writer's room. Writers have been devalued time and time again in the entertainment world.
Yeah, yes.
And I think this is the time to turn that around because they are the lifeblood of the industry. So I'm behind it. I think nothing but good is going to come out of it.
Okay. So what happens to us people that love to watch this stuff? What's the offshoot? Like how long?
What?
Like new stuff won't be made. I know there's stuff in the can.
Right.
But when does the glut hit?
Well, I think that most streamers and networks have. I hate to say this, but they have a good half a year to year probably in the can. I mean, I have a show right now on Discovery that we shot a year ago.
Oh, tell the people. I meant to bring this up. Tell the people about your show.
Oh, well, I was talking about a different one, but I'll tell you about the one I know what you're talking about.
Getting all kinds of buzz. TV Todd's own show.
I know. I'm really excited about this one. I think this one is going to be it's already getting a lot of buzz. It's called The Curious Case of Natalia Grace, and it's a documentary true crime series that premieres on Discovery ID, Discovery Plus, and Max at the same time on May 29th for 3 nights, 2 hours each night, and it's the true story of this family who adopted a little Ukraine girl with dwarfism, and I don't want to give away all the twists and turns, but the family believes that she is not a child. She's a murderous adult dwarf.
Nefarious.
And they abandon her, and the parents get arrested for doing it. It takes crazy twists and turns, and I hope your audience will watch it.
Oh, man, yeah, it's you, Todd. Hey, if people want to find you, how do they reach you?
They can hit me up on Twitter at Todd Schill, TODDSHILL.
My brother, listen, good luck. We'll be talking all about that, too, again next week, too. What a great story that is.
I love it. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, buddy. Go Flyers. Oh, Tunis. It's the weekend, Tunis.
Thank God.
Right?
Thank God.
I got to tell
Fightins. I got Fightins Cubs tonight.
I got to tell you, next week, we might be doing a lot of football next week.
Sure you're not going to complain?
Football. No, complain. I'm the one that's going to orchestrate it. I need a TO from all this talk. We're going to get into football. Everybody, we love you guys. Have a great weekend, okay? Stay tuned. The best show ever is coming your way next. We love you. Enjoy your weekend. Be safe, and we'll see you on Monday.
Fanatic Sports Update.
For the latest on Harden, I'm Andrew Salchunas, and this update is brought to you by Shock IT. Unfortunately, it's not a question of if your business will be hit by a cyber attack. It's a question of when. Be prepared by protecting your business with ShockIT.com. That's ShockIT.com. Keith Pompey, the Inquirer, reporting earlier today that he is expecting James Harden to go back to the Houston Rockets, per his sources. Of course, Harden opted out of the first year of his deal, the 3-year deal with the Sixers that he signed last offseason. So Harden back to Houston changes a lot of plans for the Sixers this offseason. We'll keep you up to date on all the latest news on Harden and what the Sixers may do